It is a perfect night for baseball in Boston on a weekend where they have honored one of the greats, David Ortiz, getting a street named after him, getting his number 34 retired. And here at Fenway Park for Game 2 of this weekend series, the Angels are in town. And after the Red Sox took Game 1 last night 9-4, the Yankees losing today, their free fall continues. And the Red Sox with a half-game advantage in the East. And while the Angels sit around 500, they, like most teams in the American League, still in that postseason picture. Welcome inside. Joe Davis with A.J. Pierzynski. J.P. Morosi joins us in just a moment. You know, you go back to late May, and the Red Sox sat at 500, 4.5 games out of first place, but they've gone 20-11 since. If they're going to reach where a lot of people think they can this year, though, the guy starting today and David Price has to be better.
Well, I hate to say that it all comes down to David Price, but when you play for the Red Sox and you're a starting pitcher and you have the career resume that David Price has, you have to perform. And if the Red Sox go where they think they should be, and I think they should be the postseason, they need David Price to step up, be healthy, and be more efficient with his pitches. They also need him to do one big thing: win a postseason game, which he's never done for any team that he's been on.
Face off with the Angels in this one. Mike Trout went down about a month ago, but the Angels have survived, and a big part of the reason why Cameron Maybin moved into that leadoff spot in mid-May and has thrived.
Well, look, you lose the best player in the planet in Mike Trout. The whole team has to step up. It's not just going to be one guy. It's not just going to be Cam Maybin or Albert Pujols. But since Cam Maybin has been in the leadoff spot, he's been on fire. He's been the Angels' best player and the best hitter. He leads the league in stolen bases. He causes havoc, and he plays a Gold Glove center field. He's an ex-teammate of mine. I couldn't be happier for the guy. But Cam Maybin has stepped it up at most when the Angels need him more than anything right now.
He and the Angels face off with the Red Sox here in Game 2 of this series from Fenway Park. A beautiful night on Baseball Night in America. We've got first pitch on the other side of this break. It is a gorgeous night here in Boston at Fenway Park as the Red Sox and Angels get ready to play Game 2 of this weekend series. 83 degrees, bit of a breeze going on as the sun sets on a perfect night for baseball. We're glad you're with us. Angels lineup ready to bat against David Price. Has Cameron Maybin at the top of it. Then it's Cole Calhoun, who has started to heat up since Mike Trout has gone down. Albert Pujols hits third. Then it's Andrelton Simmons. And starting with Simmons, everybody has shifted up one spot in the order because Yunel Escobar was a late scratch with a strained thumb. Maldonado does the catching. Espinosa, Valbuena, Young, and Pennington, the addition to the lineup with the scratch of Escobar. For Price, it's his sixth start of the year after missing the first 2 months with the elbow issues, and they need a better version of this guy with the earned run average so far above 5.
Well, after missing 2 months, you come back, you jump right in the middle of the season, you're already a little bit behind, you start pressing a little bit if you're David Price with the career resume that you have, and he'll be fine. He just needs to get back into normal, get back to normalcy, get the ball every 5th day and do what he does.
So we're ready to go with the Red Sox's season high 9 games above 500 and alone in first for only the second day this season with a half-game lead on the Yankees. Off we go with a ground ball to short and 1 pitch, 1 out to start David Price's night. Lincoln Motor keys to the game.
Well, for the Angels, their pitcher needs to get through the first inning. Ramirez is struggling in the first inning. If he gets through the first inning, he's usually pretty good after that. They've tried everything with him, changing his routine, but he needs to get through the first inning. And for the Red Sox, they need to score 4 runs or more. When they score 4 runs or more this year, Joe, they're 37-10. So their key, get 4 runs.
They've averaged right around there on the season. League average offensively. As Cole Calhoun climbs in. Angels have been within 4 games of 500 all year. They haven't had a winning streak or losing streak greater than 2 games over the last month for Mike Scioscia. And so while it's been mediocre, just with the context around the league, still very much alive. 2.5 games out of the second wild card. Price deals 1-0, and Calhoun cracks one against the shift for a base hit. So 1 out single for Cole Calhoun.
Shift beater by Cole Calhoun, broken bat, jams himself, just trying to hit the ball to the shortstop. Normally there's a shortstop standing there, but because of all the sabermetrics and the defensive shifts, that's a base hit these days.
And so with a man at first and 1 gone, here's Pujols. Joined the 600 home run club earlier this month. Did it with a grand slam against Minnesota to be the 9th man in the game's history to hit 600. Two of those 600+ home runs in his career have come against Price.
600 homers. It's a lot of homers. I didn't even get to 200, so 600 just is, for me, is mind-boggling that someone could hit 600 home runs.
Takes inside and it's 1-1. He has those 2 home runs against Price, but other than that, Price has gotten the better of him.
Price is a tough matchup, I think, for Albert because he throws a lot of heaters in. And if there was ever a place you would go on Albert to try to get him out, it was inside. And Price, as you watch this at bat develop, will continue to throw fastballs in and cutters in coming into Albert's bat.
That ball's lifted to left center field. Benintendi moves over but won't get there, and a teardrop base hit for Pujols puts him at first and second with 1 out.
And another broken bat by Price. Pujols broke his bat. He's shaking his head because the ball got in on him. Price missed his spot, trying to go away off the end. Just dunks it in front of Benintendi and Bradley, and Angels are in business in the first inning.
And it's more traffic against David Price, and it seemed like anytime he's taken the mound, he's dealt with this. Beat Houston on Sunday, gave up only 3 runs, but that was despite the Astros having 14 base runners against him through 5+.
Well, that's kind of been in his starts for the season. He's had so much traffic, and the pitch count has been run up so quickly because of that traffic. That's what we were talking about. He needs to be more efficient in his pitches.
Good strike one on Andrelton Simmons. Having a nice offensive season to complement one of the game's best gloves at short. Two on with 1 out and an 0-1. Strike 2.
When we talked to John Farrell before the game, he was talking about David Price, saying, hey, he needs to use his slow stuff more often. And so far, he's thrown nothing but hard to all the Angel hitters. So at some point, he's going to have to start changing speeds just to try to get him off balance. I know he's given up 2 broken bat hits, but there's still hits on hard pitches.
He's home with an 0-2. That was a cutter low, and it's 1-2. Between the 4-seam, the sinker, and the cutter, it's about 80% of what David Price throws. So that only leaves about 1 out of every 5 pitches that are the change of the curve.
And as a hitter, if you know, hey, he's going to be between 88 and 94, you can adjust a lot easier than if he would throw some more changeups. He's got a good changeup. He's got a good slider that's a little bit slower, and it just gets guys off the hard stuff. And you saw the cutter the last pitch, it was 88. Well, if your fastball's at 93 and your cutter's at 88, there's not enough speed differential there to make guys get off balance and feel uncomfortable.
A 1-2, and he got him swinging. 2 out. David Price's first strikeout of the game makes it 2 on with 2 out here in the first.
2 pitches ago, this is the cutter, 88 miles an hour. You see Simmons, there was no take, and then he rears back and throws 95 by him. Simmons is mad because he got a good pitch to hit, 0-2, and it was close to the same speed as what he saw. That's what frustrates a hitter, is when you get a good pitch to hit and you miss it. So for Price, yeah, he got the strikeout, but it was good swings by Simmons and good takes because of the pitch selection.
And Price a chance to get out of this inning with no damage. Facing the 5-hitter, Martin Maldonado. Having a nice season in his first year with the Angels. Really his first opportunity at an everyday role. But Jonathan Lucroy's back up in Milwaukee for his entire career. Ball 1.
Maldonado's always had the reputation of a catch and throw guy. He can throw. This guy's one of the best throwing arms in all of baseball. And like you said, Joe, being behind Jonathan Lucroy for all those years in Milwaukee, he never got an opportunity. Now he's traded to the Angels and gets to play pretty much every day, and he's shown what he can do not only defensively but offensively. And he has one of the coolest nicknames in all of baseball,
which is
Machete.
I like it.
For his arm, because he cuts the runners down.
A 1-0 to him is popped up down the right field line. Betts runs out of room. Just barely, and it's 1-1. Now Maldonado on his career, a .217 hitter in Milwaukee, but in his first opportunity at playing every day, getting into a groove, a bit of a rhythm, he's hitting above .260.
Well, it makes a difference as a player, and especially as a position player, when you know you're going to get those consistent at bats on a day in and day out basis. It changes your mindset. When you're only getting 1 start a week or 1 start every 7 or 8 days, those 4 at bats are so precious. But when you know you're going to get 400, 500 at bats, it takes a little bit of pressure off every at bat. Instead of trying to get 5 hits in a bat, you only try to take care of that at bat.
Price brings him a 1-1, and Maldonado swings over a cutter for strike 2. Back-to-back cracked bat singles in this inning for Calhoun and Pujols. Price struck out Simmons, and now an opportunity to get out of this with a 1-2 count on Maldonado. Goes up with a fastball, and Maldonado lays off 2-2.
Did he swing? I thought he went. Vasquez thought he went. Everybody except the first base umpire thought he went.
I think it was probably a good call based on that angle.
The problem I have with that is you just never know when they're going to call it and when they're not going to call it.
Now a 2-2. Maldonado rips a base hit into center. Calhoun headed for the plate, and a 2-out RBI single for Martin Maldonado has opened the scoring against Price in the first.
The struggles continue for David Price. 90-mile-an-hour cutter. Again, same speed. Maldonado, nice piece of hitting, staying on it, hitting it right back up the middle, driving Cole Calhoun from second easily.
So the third hit of the inning for the Angels produces the game's first run, and it brings up Danny Espinosa. Whose 176 average so far is the lowest among active qualifiers. Only guy that was lower, Kyle Schwarber, was sent to the minors. Missed badly, ball one.
That was a curveball. 76, 77 for a curveball. So they are trying something different. Obviously, Christian Vasquez, the catcher for the Red Sox, knows what we've been talking about. He must have us bugged up here, but that's what he needs. He needs to show them, even if it's not a strike, just show them something close, just to put it in the hitter's mind that, hey, he will throw something other than 88 to 93 miles an hour.
See what he goes to on 1-0. Back to the fast stuff, and it's pop foul. It's 1-1. David Price in his 9th full season in the majors. First 5.5 years with Tampa Bay. Won a Cy Young in 2012. Then to Detroit for a year. Half a season with the Blue Jays. And now in the second year of his 7-year deal here in Boston. First and second with 2 out. Time called by Espinosa.
And if David Price is right, Sale, Price, Porcello, now you had Fister is pitching tomorrow. That's a pretty good 4 to start your rotation with. A couple guys that have won Cy Youngs.
He offered, and it's 1-2. And another in Chris Sale.
A guy that'll probably win one at some point. Yeah. Chris Sale leads the world in strikeouts. That's a great start for a rotation. And then you put Kimbrel in the back end of a bullpen. And they have a good staff. They just need everyone to get right. Get Rodriguez back when he comes back from his knee injury. Their pitching has not been the problem. It's been the consistency of the pitching, keeping them healthy. And believe it or not, for the Boston Red Sox, for the first time in a long time, scoring enough runs.
Lacking power offensively this year. More of a doubles team. Still though in first place in the East, entering the day at 41-32. Price deals 1-2, and Espinosa takes ball 2. So a 20-pitch first inning for David Price. Asked him after his start on Sunday in Houston how he would rate his season so far, and he said, look, honestly, it's been terrible so far. I'm a better pitcher than I'm showing. Trying to limit the damage in the first. The 2-2. Yeah, you go back to 2010, early on in David Price's career. He's among the top 10 in baseball in several categories. He's been really durable. That's why it raised such a red flag this spring when he had the elbow problems. A couple of different surgeons told him that if he were younger, they would recommend surgery on that elbow, but instead elected to rest and rehab it. In his season debut in late May. He lets another 2-2 fly, and Espinosa takes ball 3 to run it full.
when you've had the career and the credentials that David Price has had since he came up with the Rays, and surgery is put on the table or rehab, guys that take the ball every 5th day the way he has his entire career, they're usually not going to opt for surgery unless it's their last resort. And he didn't. He opted to rehab and was back in 2 months. And basically, when you miss spring training, it takes you time to catch back up, and that's what you see in David Price in his start so far this year. He's playing catch-up.
This is number 6 for him. A payoff. The runners move and a line drive to center that Jackie Bradley camps under to finish the inning. The Angels, though, get a run on 3 hits against Price and come to bat for the first time when you come back. To put Anaheim in front. The Red Sox ready to bat for the first time with this lineup penned out by John Farrell. Mookie Betts is at the top. And it's Dustin Pedroia. Xander Bogaerts having a great season at short and out of that 3 spot. Moreland, Benintendi, and Ramirez in the middle. Then it's Bradley, Vasquez, and Marrero rounding out the Boston batting order. He'll face the 28-year-old from Nicaragua. His name is J.C. Ramirez. And in his first year as a starter, into the rotation in mid-April with all the injury problems they've had there. And after 111 career relief appearances, he made his first big league start. First pitch today is strike 1 on Mookie Betts.
A hard thrower. Ramirez is a hard thrower. But Mike Scioscia said the reason he became an effective starter is he found a curveball, which, like we talked about with David Price, is something slower. He gets the big league hitters off the hard stuff. Pitches out of the stretch full time, which has become more and more the norm, even for starting pitchers. Yu Darvish.
David Price
is modified.
Mentioned he's a hard thrower. In fact, he's the 2nd hardest thrower in baseball behind Luis Severino with the Yankees. Is 2-1. Hit on the ground foul, and it's 2-2. That, of course, is among starting pitchers. He's had the slider. He was a fastball slider guy as a reliever, but the curveball that you mentioned has given him 3 solid pitches to work with. Implemented that this spring, something that he had thrown earlier in his career as a starter in the minors. A 2-2 to Mookie Betts and a full count to open the night for Boston.
And if Ramirez has had a hiccup all year, we talked about it in the Keys, it's the first inning. They've tried everything. They've tried him sitting down in his warm-ups to simulate a first inning. They've tried coming directly in from the bullpen, starting later.
Bats lines one into center. Maben slides down to catch it. Well, those balls hit right at you can sometimes be the most difficult, and that's what Maben looks over to Cole Calhoun and communicates. But he's got it, 1 out.
Kind of a false step back by Cam. Nice sliding catch to get the day going. In center field for Cam. Eyes closed. I'm going to have to get on him after the game. Tell him to open his eyes when he slides. Keep your eye on the ball.
So with 1 out, it's Pedroia, who was hit in the upper back last week on Sunday with a pitch against Houston, and didn't think much of it at the time, but then found himself coughing up blood. It was a little bit alarming, and saw the bruise that developed and sat out a few days. Was back in there last night, but that was because Josh Rutledge couldn't play. They found out he had a concussion. That bruise is far from gone, though, for Pedroia.
He showed it to me before, during batting practice. It's a nice one. It looks like one of those, if you open an atlas up and there's like just a land mass like in the middle of it. That's what it looks like on his back. Except it's purple. He's got just a purple landmass on his back, and he told me he coughed and thought it was just phlegm, and it was just a wad of blood. And that was when he became a little worried that there might be more going on than just a bruise.
And it has been a bit of a frustrating year for him with those nagging injuries. Little things popping up here and there. Still solid numbers, though, hitting close to 300. And ripping a base hit into center. You go back to late April, you know, the slide from Manny Machado that came in high on Dustin Pedroia, injured his knee, his surgically repaired knee, and had to miss a few games because of that. And he's had the wrist problems throughout his career, so everybody cheering for the Red Sox held their breath when he injured his wrist in Chicago in late May, but was able to come back from that short order and suffered that hit-by pitch on Sunday that caused him to miss another few days.
Well, that's why I think Dustin's power numbers are down. He's only got 2 home runs. We're almost into July. Normally hits for a little bit more power. The average is still there, but when your hands and your wrists and things like that start getting affected, that's when you start losing your power and your whip and your bat speed.
Xander Bogaerts takes ball 1. Pedroia at first and 1 gone, and a 1-0 game here in the first inning. Been a great year for Bogaerts so far, been a particularly good week. 10 for 20 with 3 home runs over the last 5 games.
Well, considering he only had 2 home runs before those 3,
right,
it's been a great week. And if you can go 10 for 20 at any point, that's special. You don't want to change a thing.
And just about everything for Bogaerts was looking good as far as the statistics go, besides the home runs. Now that those are coming around again, he is putting together an elite line. Two and 1. He's continued to grow in his time here in the majors. That OPS at a career high mark right here in his 4th full season.
Well, if you remember, Bogaerts was on the 2013 World Series championship team. And I signed here the offseason of that before 2014 to play for the Red Sox. And I remember talking to Jake Peavy, and he told me, this kid's got a chance to be one of the best players in all the game. He's like, you just saw the tip of the iceberg in the playoffs. But he came up, he was young, he struggled a little bit in 14, and slowly but surely as he's gotten older, he's now becoming what Jake Peavy and others thought he could be, and that's one of the best shortstops in all of baseball.
He's an all-star for the first time last year. Good chance he'll be headed back to the Midsummer Classic in Miami again this year. '24-year-old Xander Bogaerts cuts and misses at a sharp slider, and it's 2-2.
Well, he's got everything you look for in not only a shortstop, but a primo shortstop, as he swings and misses at a nasty slider from Ramirez. Defensively, he's solid. He's got the arm. He's got the range. He makes contact. He hits for average. He's got power. Can run better than you think. And he's got number 2, which never hurts for a shortstop.
A big bouncer at second. Espinosa steps on the bag and throws in one motion for a double play. So the Red Sox get a 1-out single from Pedroia, but don't score as Ramirez uses the double play ball to get out of the inning. Telecast is sponsored by Sprint. Works for me. Boston Commons on a gorgeous Saturday night. The Red Sox and the Angels playing game 2 of this weekend series. Joe Davis, A.J. Brzezinski, J.P. Morosi. Luis Valbuena fouls off the first. Price pitch of the second. Valbuena missed the first month of the season because of a hamstring injury. And has gotten off to a slow start, but lucky for him, C.J. Cron got off to an even slower start and has been shipped back to AAA for the second time. One and one. First season in Anaheim for Valbuena. Last couple of years in Houston. Former Cub, former Indian, former Mariner. Grounds one softly to second. That's Pedroia in short right for the first out. Well, the Angels lost Mike Trout in late May, and they've been right around 500 since then. But the offense has actually scored more runs per game without Trout. And the guy that was called up to replace him is at the plate now, and Eric Young. What a jolt of energy this big league veteran has been. Somebody you played with at times during your career, and you couldn't speak any more highly of him.
You said it correctly, a jolt of energy. He brings energy, he brings speed, he brings the one component on a team that is hard to find, and that's when he gets on base, everyone knows he's going. And he steals huge bases, and he's a professional.
Clips this one off the end of the bat. Mookie Betts settles under it. 2 out. We were talking during that first inning about David Price relying so much on the hard stuff. 19 of the 22 pitches that he threw considered fastballs.
Well, he just got Eric Young. It said cutter, but it was 85, so it was a little bit slower of a breaking ball. You see John Farrell talking to Christian Vasquez right here, and he kept saying, if you can read his lips, too many fastballs, fastball. Try to throw something beside a fastball. And that's what they're trying to get David Price to do, to be a little bit more efficient and not throw everything hard, 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 hard.
Went hard for strike 1 to Cliff Pennington.
I mean, if you can throw 95 and paint it on the inside corner, you can throw that all day long.
There's a cutter for strike 2.
But the other problem is he's been trying to throw it in there and he's been missing out over the plate, kind of like he did in the first inning. And guys are getting hits and getting traffic and scoring runs.
Yeah, it's one thing to go heavy fastball if you're mowing everybody down, but Price comes in with an ERA above 5, still trying to find himself here early on in his season. John Farrell wants to see more of that off speed. Didn't need it there, blowing a fastball by Pennington for an 8-pitch inning. 1-0, Angels in front to the bottom of the second. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by Budweiser, proudly brewed across America. This Bud's for you. Joe Davis, A.J. Pierzynski, and J.P. Morosi back inside Fenway Park, where the Angels have the game's only run and a base hit in the first inning for Martin Maldonado. J.C. Ramirez on the mound for his second inning of work. Ball 1 on Mitch Moreland. In his first season with the Red Sox, it's been a pleasant surprise how good he's been offensively. Career best numbers across the board for a guy that has been more of a glove first baseman throughout his career. Although lately struggling some ever since fouling a ball off his toe, fracturing his toe. He's gone 3 for his last 26. But he's still in there.
Hitting starts from your feet up, and if you have a broken toe.
Drives this ball in the air to center. Maben turns around. That thing is gone. Mitch Moreland just to the left of dead center. Over the green monster to tie the game. His 10th of the season and locked at 1 here in the second.
This is where Mitch Moreland's power has always been, to left center. That's his sweet spot of his swing. And Ramirez left the ball out over the plate, and he hit it out over the deepest part of the monster out there in left center. And he limped his way around the bases with only 9 toes apparently, 1 broken and 9 fixed ones.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if your toe hurts if you can try.
That's right.
Andrew Benintendi now looking at strike 1.
Mislocation by Ramirez, trying to go in, gets it out over the plate, right into Mitch Moreland's sweet spot, which is to left center field gap, and a nice home run trot.
Benintendi takes the ball, and it's 1-1.
Just a perfect swing by Moreland. Compact, straight to the ball.
And it's more the same for these Angels pitchers. They've given up more home runs than any staff in baseball. Starting staff decimated by injuries. We've got a full rotation of guys on the DL right now.
Not too many teams have 5 starters that they were starting the season, planning on starting the season with on the DL, and are still hovering around 500. It's a credit to Charles Nagy, their pitching coach, and Socia.
Benintendi hits a bullet to right for a base hit. Calhoun juggles it. Benintendi takes advantage, taking second. We'll see how they rule it, but either way, the Red Sox have the go-ahead run in scoring position.
Fastball down and in to Benintendi. Pulls the hands in, 3-1 count. He's looking for something to drive. Calhoun a little bit rushed because Benintendi can run a little bit, put some pressure on him, bobbles it, easily makes it to second.
And they rule it a single and an error. Looks like Benintendi was set on holding it first with a single before Calhoun's juggle opened the door.
But that's because of the pressure and the hard out of the box that Benintendi took. He came out hard out of the box thinking, hey, this might be a double. And as an outfielder, when you know a guy has a little speed and he puts a little pressure on you, that leads to the bobble.
1-0 Hanley Ramirez. He's wondering where they want to position.
That's a bad feeling. I've never played in the outfield, but if you don't know where to stand before the pitch, that cannot be a good feeling. He's still out there wondering which way to go.
That's it, foul. If last night was any indication, you might want to go stand right by the foul pole. That is where Hanley Ramirez hit his 10th home run of the season, but his first one in a long time as the Red Sox try to get their DH going.
307-foot foul ball in every other park except for Boston. But here in Boston with Pesky's pole out there, it's a home run, and Hanley's got to trot around the bases.
It's got Benintendi at second with nobody out. A tie game in the second, and hits it foul 1-2.
Hanley is making a conscious effort to really try and go to right field. I think that's kind of why Calhoun was wondering where to play. Since the start of the at-bat, Cameron Maybin started more in left center field and now worked his way over to right center a little bit. You can see not only with the guy on second and nobody out, he's trying to get Benintendi to third, but just as a hitter, when you've been struggling the way Hanley has, the hitting coach will always tell you, try to go to right field, try to go the opposite field, because that'll get you locked back in and slows everything down for you.
Shoulders have been a real issue for him. And early on the talk was that it was just one shoulder, but recently they've revealed that he's dealing with issues in both shoulders. That's kept him from playing any first base this year. Only 2 games there. And that is going to handcuff John Farrell some in his lineup construction. JC Ramirez to Hanley Ramirez. Comes another 2-2 after time is called. Now last year was a resurgent year for him after the worst year of his career in his debut season of this contract in Boston in 2015. But as he's dealt with those shoulder issues, the numbers have tumbled back down. Up and in, full count.
Well, because of those shoulder issues, he's not as free and easy as he has been throughout his whole career swinging. When you swing, it's a handsy swing. It's more of a, you don't want your body as involved as Hanley has it right now, and therefore it leads to trying to do a little bit more because you don't feel right.
Tries to lay off but can't, and that's strike 3. First strikeout of the game for JC Ramirez, and one gone in the second.
And when you have more body in your swing, you have to start a little bit earlier because you don't trust yourself enough to just let your hands work. And because of his shoulder injuries and the problems he's dealing with, he has to start just a tick early, see the body get out in front, and he can't stop because he's already committed because he knows he has to start a little bit sooner.
And of course the argument here from the hitter and the manager John Farrell is, why don't you at least ask for help?
That's all you, as a hitter, you always want to ask for help. And as a catcher, you always want the home plate umpire to call it because usually he calls it a strike.
Jackie Bradley looks at strike 1. Hottest Red Sox hitter over the last month. 360 here in June after he hit around 200 over the first 2 months. Big part of the reason Bradley's come on is that he's feeling healthy. Had a knee injury in April, had a brace on that knee until the end of May. And since the brace has come off, the average has gone up. Power numbers have too. The 0-1 pitch to him. Cuts through it, strike 2. Player stat brought to you by Just for Men Control GX Gray Reducing Shampoo. Since May 30th, 370 average. And the biggest thing when John Farrell looks at what Jackie Bradley is doing is the fact that he's walking almost as much as he's striking out during this run. That one hit his foot, and looks like he's in a ton of pain as that thing drills him. Limping his way towards the third base dugout, but good to see him jog on down to first.
You always talk about a back foot slider to a left-handed hitter. That literally was a back foot slider. Trying to throw it down and in and just back foot. Ow. Yeah, there's no pad in the world you can put on your toe to make that go away. He's going to feel that, and the more he stands on it and the more he stands out in center field, it's only going to get worse. Zach Greinke hit me one time like that, and my toenail popped the blood vessel under my toenail.
Oh, jeez.
And I had to cut my shoe, the toe off the top of my shoe, to keep playing. And after the game, they take a hot paper clip to get the pressure on. They stick it through the toenail and it squirts the blood out.
So there's that.
Yeah.
Strike 1 on Vasquez.
So I had to play the next 3 days with my shoe, literally the toe cut out of my shoe.
Wow, just because it was so swollen?
It was so swollen, yeah. And Mike Sweeney of the Royals could not stop making fun of me because it looked so ridiculous because I had flaps on the top of my shoe when I would run.
Runners take off. Vasquez puts it in play, and Simmons throws him out. They do avoid the double play by putting the runners in motion. Weren't you terrified of getting hit there again with zero protection on it?
Well, no, because if it hit it at that point, it hurt so bad already that if I got hit there again, then I was just going to crawl back to the dugout and
retire
right into the training room. There was nothing I could do at that point.
Second and third with 2 gone, and the 9-hitter Devin Marrero has a chance to give the Red Sox their first lead of the game. Former first-round pick in his 3rd season with time in the majors. Spot duty all 3 years. Biggest role he's played yet this season because Pablo Sandoval has either been underperforming or on the disabled list. One and one.
I'm not sure if this was a hit and run, but I thought Benintendi had third base stolen pretty easily here. And Vasquez obviously swung, and nice play by Simmons, but as a hitter, if you see a guy get a jump like that, you want him to get to third.
It's a ground ball to second that Espinosa fields and finishes the inning. The Red Sox leave him at second and third. We're off and running in Boston and tied at 1 through 2. Sox getting 1 in the second. Here we are in the third. And David Price to the leadoff man, Cameron Maybin, with ball 1. Swung at the first pitch of the game, grounded out to short. "30-year-old in his 11th season, up in the count 2-0. Angels moved him into the leadoff spot in mid-May, and he's hitting a ridiculous .374 since that day.
We got to get back to the fact you said he's 30 years old and he's in his 11th season in the big leagues.
Yeah, you're right.
That just shows you what kind of hype Cameron Maybin's has had to deal with since pretty much he was in high school.
He's the youngest player in the American League when he debuted with the Tigers in 2007. Had just turned 20. 2 years after he was the 10th overall pick out of high school in North Carolina. A 2-1 for David Price. Makes it 3-1. And It's been kind of a roundabout way for Cameron Maybin to find himself in kind of a starring role. A lot of people thought it would come much earlier in his career. It's 3-2. Some injuries early on that led to underperformance. And he kind of become a forgotten man before getting his career back on track over the last 3 years now. Atlanta, Detroit, and now in his first year with the Angels.
I remember when he first came up with Detroit and hearing all the hype and saying, man, this kid is going to be special. The way he looks, the athleticism.
Bounces one the other way. Dustin Pedroia has to get rid of it quickly with Maybin running well. One gone. It's a special weekend here in Boston. Of course, last night Big Papi honored. Retired his number. Renamed a street outside for him. Of course, Pedro Martinez was here. Jason Varitek, Dustin Pedroia in the building. And there's number 34 unveiled in right field.
David and I played together in A-ball back in Fort Myers for the Twins. And when he got traded from the Mariners, I played against him in the Midwest League the year before, and he was David Arias. And I remember the Twins made a trade in the offseason. They required David Ortiz. So all the guys that were on our A-ball team in Fort Wayne back in 1996 were like, did the Twins trade for the wrong guy? We did not know that he had changed his name from Arias to Ortiz.
2-0 on Cole Calhoun.
One of my favorite teammates I ever had. Always had a smile on his face. Always brought a smile to your face. Always having fun. Always the life of the party.
Cracked foul, and it's 2-1. And boy, did he go out in style. In his age 40 season, was one of the best hitters in the game, and throughout his career, 2 decades in the majors, the best there's ever been at doing what he did. Not too many guys over the last 20 years that you'd want out more in a big situation than Big Papi.
He'd be number 1 on my list. I saw him get a lot of big hits, not only with the Twins, but obviously with the Red Sox.
Calhoun rolls it to second. Couple of opportunities for Pedroia. 2 quick outs here in the third as we go down with Albert Pujols coming up to JP.
Thanks, Joe. Well, actually, Pujols grew up in the same hometown as David Ortiz, Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic. He actually idolized him to some extent there. And Albert told me a story yesterday, Joe, about a time that he skipped school to watch Ortiz play. And in those days, when Big Papi was a teenager, he had a different nickname, Pecosa, translated to hard hitter.
I love it.
See, I was the opposite. I was soft hitter. So how do we, JP, how do we say soft hitter? Because that would have been me.
I know JP's been working that Rosetta Stone. Have you gotten to that chapter yet, JP?
I'm not sure, guys, that I can translate that quickly, but I will check with my Dominican sources and get back to you as soon as I can.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Spoken like a true reporter. He's going to do his digging. Nothing in 1 on Pujols. David Price back downhill with a change for a ball. Pujols, a 10-time All-Star. 17th Major League year now. 6th with the Angels. Still 4 more years left on that huge contract that'll take him through the 2021 year. 2-1. Hits a high drive to center that sends Bradley back onto the warning track and off the wall. Pujols on his way to second with his second double of the weekend. Didn't miss by much. Angels have the go-ahead run in scoring position with 2 out.
much any other park in Major League Baseball, this is a home run. Barrels it up right down the middle. Classic Pujols swing and finish. He thinks he got it. Jackie Bradley made a tremendous play actually to keep this ball from getting past him and possibly getting Albert a triple, which probably would have been more news than him having 600 home runs.
Yeah, this juncture, Albert does not run like he once did. He stands at second with 2 away in the third, and Andrelton Simmons, who struck out his first time, trying to solve David Price, who has owned him in their matchup's lifetime.
And there was a curveball to start Simmons out, just to give him something else to look at and think about.
One and one. Simmons has faced Price 7 times before and struck out 5 of those ABs.
That's ownage.
Yeah. Pujols is second with 2 out. Price home 1-1. Inside on Simmons, ball 2. You're wondering about Pujols and the ability to get a triple there. Had that ball gotten by Jackie Bradley, would have been his first triple in 3 years.
That's about right. He doesn't get paid for triples. He gets paid to trot.
Challenged him with a fastball. It's dumped back, and it's 2-2.
There's a little hitch in that giddy up for Albert at this juncture, but he still goes out there every day. He still gives it everything he's got, and he can still hit.
His career the last few years derailed by those injury issues: the plantar fasciitis, the back pain, the knee surgeries. He's had off-season surgery 4 of the last 5 years. His last off-season was another foot surgery. It's inside on Simmons and a full count. Simmons hits it softly to short. Bogarts has it, and the inning is over. A 2-out double, but no damage against Price in a 1-1 game to the bottom of the third. MLB's initiative to inspire all forms of baseball and softball participation, making play opportunities available and fun for everyone. Go to playball.org to learn more. Mookie Betts in the top of the Boston order. J.C. Ramirez spins one in, strike one. Red Sox getting their run on a Mitch Moreland leadoff homer last inning. Betts takes the ball and it's 1-1. It's such a big year last year. The runner-up to Mike Trout for MVP. So he set a really high bar for himself, and so far this year he's not reached. Farrell said it's been an ongoing battle to try and capture the right timing for Mookie.
Well, whenever you move your hands as much as Mookie Betts does, prior to getting ready and you're actually swinging the bat, you have to be really good with your timing, and that's what John Farrell's talking about. It's hard to be consistent with that much movement in your hands to be on time all the time. He just has such athletic ability and such good hand-eye coordination that he's able to make up for when he makes mistakes. But most guys cannot hit with that much hand movement because it's so inconsistent.
He takes and a check swing. He tried to, but first base umpire Adam Hamari says that he offered, and it's a full count. You could hear on our effects microphones the home plate umpire Ryan Blackney had said ball 4 until they checked down, and now it's a full count pitch. And Betts looks at strike 3. That is a frustrating turn of events there for the first out of the inning, and we go down to JP.
Well, Joe, Mookie Betts told me before this game that he's been looking at video recently, and his goal is to try to lower those hands AJ was talking about. He thinks he's maybe been starting them a bit too high here early this season.
All right, JP, he's the second strikeout victim of J.C. Ramirez here, and it brings up Dustin Pedroia. Singled his first time.
And just to add on to JP's point about his hands, you don't see most hitters aren't able to do that. Watch Pedroia. Pedroia's hands are very still. Albert Pujols, very still hands. The more movement you have in your hands, the more inconsistent you're going to be, one, getting started and getting ready, and two, getting them back to the same place to fire every time. I'm sure Chili Davis, the hitting coach, is working with them and watching video. But at some point you have to feel it. You have to feel it as a hitter. And if you don't feel it, you can do all the video work and all the drills you can. But until you feel it, which Mookie said he's had a hard time finding the right feeling, it's frustrating and it's a battle.
2-1. That's a strike, and it's 2-2. Some guys, though, will say that if they're too still, they feel like they don't have rhythm going into the swing.
But you never see anybody with that much movement. It's too hard to be consistent. You have to be so on time and so ready. And the pitchers now are quick pitching, changing their leg kick.
Protective swing, still 2-2.
I know when we had a scouting report on Betts, and it's similar to guys with high leg kicks. You try to have guys slide step or quick pitch them because it throws off their timing of their hands or their leg kick, and it gives your pitcher an advantage. And all the pitchers now, almost all of them, have that in their repertoire now.
Bouncing ball to short. Andrelton Simmons throws Pedroia out, 2 away. So we saw the movement Mookie Betts has. Look how quiet the hands of Dustin Pedroia are.
There's just a little going back. There's nothing major. There's no large movements. It's just a very quiet, direct to the ball approach by Pedroia, and you see that in most hitters, most good hitters. But Betts is a special athlete and a special hitter to be able to do that. And he has a unique ability to get the barrel to the ball.
And look, he was moving his hands last year.
He was
320 something.
He was,
so.
absolutely.
Here's Bogarts, and strike 1.
And Bogarts, if you watch him, he has a little hand movement. He has a little trigger that is a little bit bigger than most guys, but it's still not to the extreme that Mookie Betts' hands are.
Baltimore chopped to third, backs up Pennington, who throws to get him. That's a nice play for a guy that was inserted into the lineup at the last moment tonight. Sports is sponsored by the Lincoln Continental and by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. Keep on rolling here in Boston at Fenway Park in a 1-1 game. In the fourth inning, it's Martin Maldonado to lead off against David Price. Knocked in the game's first run with a 2-out single in the first inning. Only one base runner since then against Price, who has struck out 2. That's a strike. It's 1-1. What have you thought of Price through 3+?
Well, after the first inning, he started mixing it up. The last few hitters he started second time through the lineup with off-speed pitches, whether it's a curveball or like he did to Maldonado there, a first pitch changeup. So obviously the talk that John Farrell had with Vasquez, they're taking out and incorporating into their game plan, and it's working.
And over his first 5 starts of the year, he's been pretty good in the first 2 innings with a sub-2 earned run average. After the second, though, Price's ERA is around 8.
Playing catch-up. Missed spring training, missed 2 months. You're playing catch-up. Come out with a little shot of adrenaline that wears off, leads to problems. But he's been fairly sharp tonight. No walks, not a lot of strikeouts, but also not a lot of hard contact. The first inning, 2 of the hits were broken bat hits. Maldonado had a good swing on the cutter to drive in the run, but other than that, it hasn't been a lot of hard contact.
And you mentioned the lack of walks. That is a big thing for him. So far this year, career high walk rate, double what it had been over his first 8 big league years. He pitches 1-2 and runs it in at the belt, 2-2.
And that's been the problem for any pitcher, even one of the greats like David Price, is if you're walking more guys double throughout your whole career, that's just extra traffic on the bases, extra base runners, and extra pressure pitches.
Blows this one by Maldonado for his 3rd punch out. Sunday, July 2nd on ESPN, the Insurance All-Star Selection Show. The lineups of both teams will be announced, and then you can see the team take the field in the can't-miss event of the summer, the MLB All-Star Game, July 11th on Fox.
Aaron Judge be there.
Yeah.
Right.
Red Sox fans all in unison roll their eyes. Balling on Danny Espinosa.
Bogarts will be there.
I'm
pretty sure Betts will be there.
Chris Sale may start the game.
Chris Sale should probably start the All-Star game. Craig Kimbrell will be there. So the Red Sox have plenty of guys to be excited about going to the Midsummer Classic in Miami. Chris Sale will be happy. He's from Lakeland and in Florida there.
Espinosa hits a big bouncer to Bogarts, who's running, throws, sails to the dugout. And a 1-out error on Xander Bogarts as Espinosa at first.
Too much time for Bogarts here. Maybe could have set his feet. He knew we were talking about Chris Sale, so he tried to peg him in the dugout. Luckily, there's that little net there that kept the ball from hitting him. And then he might not have been able to start the All-Star game, but just an off-balance throw where he didn't get his feet set and rushed it a little bit.
That brings up Luis Valbuena. Grounded out his first time. And we're reeling off all the names of the potential Red Sox All-Stars. There's an obvious one on the other side in Mike Trout, if he's healthy in time. For an update on where that stands, here's JP.
Well, Joe, back in California this weekend, the best player on the planet, Mike Trout, is swinging off a tee. The Angels are encouraged. He may be able to take some batting practice this coming week and a return, as you mentioned, perhaps around the All-Star break.
It's a strike, and it's 1-1. Trout was a no doubt starter in the All-Star game, if healthy. Trying to get back, only a few weeks away now. It's hard to believe, what, 2.5 weeks in the All-Star break. Slow, and it's 2-1.
And Trout wants to get back for the All-Star game. He wants to play in the All-Star game, which is admirable. don't know if the Angels would rather have him maybe have his first game back, the All-Star game, but
yeah,
that's what Trout wants.
Reigning MVP, the only guy that stood between Mookie Betts and an MVP last year. It's in his 6th season. He'd be a 6-time All-Star if he gets the invite and is able to go play. He will go down as an All-Star. Just a question of whether or not he will be able to play. Espinosa's at first after the Bogarts error. Price to Valbuena with a 2-2. Outside, full count.
Maybe they could consider that a rehab game.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Socha would be like, hey, Mike, you know what? We got this game in Miami. Why don't you use that as one of your rehab starts for us?
Yeah, go tune up.
I'm sure they want him back healthy. And Mike, it's awesome if you get to play in the All-Star game. It's an honor and well-deserved, obviously.
Espinosa runs. Price throws over. Down to second, and the ball gets by. So the Red Sox throwing it all over the place here in the 4th, and the go-ahead run is at second with 1 out.
Something David Price rarely does, and that's throw over. Gets Espinosa dead to rights, and Bogey just whiffs. Trying to get the tag down before he catches it. It happens to the best of them. You see Pedroia all the way from second base going to cover third because there was no one at third because of the shift. So heads up play by Pedroia to be at third. Otherwise Espinosa could have got up and ran to third.
It's an entirely new dynamic in the game defensively now, is covering the bases with the shift.
And something Espinosa did, which I wish more people would do, you see him running way inside. You're taught when you get picked off, run straight to the shortstop to try to block the throw and give the first baseman no angle to throw you out from behind. You watch, he's going straight. He realizes right about here I'm dead, and you can see him veer in right at the shortstop to try to just give himself a little bit of an angle, make it a little bit tougher on Bogarts. It didn't affect the play there. You see the shift. You see Pedroia just hustling over to third. Price also going over there. But with all these shifts, you're always on the lookout for open bases and guys taking extra bases because there's no one there because they're out of their normal positioning.
Here's another payoff to Valbuena. And knocked down at third by Marrero. His only play is at first and throws it wildly. Everybody looks a little confused right now. Valbuena never ran down. What the world's going on?
I think they said he caught it.
They did.
Although no one said it initially that he caught it.
Nobody said it emphatically, that's for sure.
So everyone was kind of just staring at each other. That's, I guess.
The transfer?
Yeah, but what happens if he throws it down the line right there? I mean, and Espinosa scores.
Where is the out signal?
There it is.
All right. Thank you, replay.
He just wanted to throw it to Mitch to make sure, Mitch Moreland, to make sure he was paying attention.
So it's a line out. And 2 out for Eric Young. Inside the bag, a fair ball. And Eric Young has come through again for the Angels. It's an RBI double and a 2-1 game in the 4th. How good has this guy been since his call-up, corresponding with the Trout injury?
Picking on the first pitch from Price. Inside out swing. Barrels it up down the right field line. Been huge for the Angels ever since Mike Trout's gone down. You're never going to replace Mike Trout, but you get good production from a bunch of people. It can add up to some good things.
Young, a guy over the last 2 seasons, hit 151 in just a handful of big league games, but comes into this one with his average at 288 and has added on to it tonight. Ball on Cliff Pennington. How do you explain the Angels being better offensively without Trout?
Well, Young's been hot since he's been up. Maven's been hot since he's put in the leadoff spot. Maldonado's been swinging a nice bat for him. It's been a team effort. It hasn't been one guy. much like the Red Sox, without David Ortiz this year, they have to be more of a team effort.
It's a strike on Pennington, and Mike Scioscia said before the game to us today that he thinks it's just a cyclical thing where there are a lot of guys that have always hit, like Cole Calhoun, who's really turned it on over the last month, that just hadn't over the first couple of months. And then it becomes coincidence that those guys turning it on corresponds with Trout leaving.
Well, and as a player, it's that special, as special as Mike Trout is. A lot of times you catch yourself saying, well, Mike Trout will carry us. And when he's out and he's gone, other people realize, hey, look in the mirror and say, we gotta try to pick this up until he comes back and keep us in the race. And it's been a collective effort, 1 through 25 of the whole team, to keep them somewhat alive in the wild card without Mike Trout.
A 1-2, a little bit low, and the count evens. And the Angels have hung around within 4 games of 500 all year. So the definition of mediocre, that's been good enough to be part of the playoff picture midway through the season. One of the 10 teams in the American League within 2.5 games of a playoff spot. A 2-2 and a strikeout as he pulled the string to get Pennington. But the Angels get their second 2-out run of the game on a double from Young and lead 2-1. At a game apiece after the Red Sox took the opener 9-4 last night, and Mitch Moreland, whose home run is accounted for Boston's scoring, takes strike 1. You know, right before he hit that home run, I mentioned that he's been considered a glove first baseman for much of his career, and in some ways that's unfair to a guy that has routinely hit around 20 home runs per year.
Interesting. When you said that, it kind of caught my eye because, yes, Mitch has won a Gold Glove as a first baseman, but he also, like you said, hits 20 home runs. So what's the definition of a glove first guy? Because you win a Gold Glove, you automatically get lumped into that category, or do you have to hit 40 home runs like, say, Chris Carter, who just was let go by the Yankees today, but who's not known for his glove, but because he hit 40 home runs, is he a bat first baseman? The year I played with Mitch in Texas in 2013, he had 20 home runs in August, and the Rangers wanted to send him down. And it took guys like Kinsler and Beltre going in there and saying, hey, you can't send this guy down. He's got 20 homers. So I don't know. I guess because he's so good with the glove and he has such a good throwing arm, they consider him a glove first baseman. But for me, he's a pretty complete player. I mean, he's not Paul Goldschmidt or one of the all-time elite first basemen, but he's a solid player.
It's a little dribbler that'll stay fair, and on the bag at first, Valbuena for the first out. If you look at a category called OPS plus, which takes your on-base plus slugging and puts it on a scale where 100 is average, anything above that better than average, anything below that below average. He's at 101, which means that he's almost exactly a league average hitter over the course of his 8 years.
Well, actually, he's one above average.
Okay.
So he's above average.
He is above average by the definition. I guess you're right. Benintendi with the bases empty and 1 out. Backdoor, strike 1. I mean, you get the point, though. You can see why he's labeled his glove first. When you consider a number like that, where you put the full package together, and he's relatively average as a hitter, above average as a fielder, though. I guess that's probably where the reputation as glove first comes from.
And I understand, but I'll also take the big guy that can hit you 20 homers at any time too. So I understand the OPS plus and all that stuff, but if you're hitting me 20 homers and you're playing a Gold Glove first baseman, you're
pretty well rounded, right?
You're an above average player.
Ball 1. A 1-2. Benintendi cues it foul. So we just threw out OPS plus at you. I'm sure that's exactly what you were judging yourself by during your playing career, right?
No, it was did I have a good at bat, one, and did I get a hit? And that was always a good at bat. And then as a catcher, it was did I get my pitcher through? Okay. So yeah, I didn't even know what OPS plus was until you just told me. So thank you.
Benintendi strikes out swinging, 2 gone. Was there one particular category that as your career went on, as sabermetrics became a bigger thing, that you looked at all, or was that not something until you finished playing that you paid any attention?
I never paid attention to it because it wasn't, when I first came up, nobody knew what sabermetrics were. So, but as you get older, you start hearing about it. But I always said you're a good player. And you can find a number. If someone wants to make you a good player, they can find a number to make you a good player, or if they want to find a number to make you a bad player. But good players are good players no matter what you look at, and bad players are bad players. It's just the nature of baseball. And the stats are in vogue, and they're very useful, and I 100% get it. But at the same time, show me a guy, and there's no stat for this, show me a guy like David Ortiz that can go out there in the bottom of the 9th against the closer and hit you a home run and win the game over a guy that hits 20 home runs that are meaningless. So.
Empty. Right. And the Ramirez cuts and misses. 1 ball and 1 strike.
I'll take the guy that hits 15 homers, but 14 of them win you games, over a guy that hits you 25 homers and they're all solo shots in meaningless situations.
Ramirez looking for a second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. After the Red Sox had a few base runners against him in the second, including the home run from Moreland. So far, it's been a nice bounce back outing for Ramirez. Coming off his shortest start, he went only 3 innings against Kansas City on Sunday. Threw 89 pitches over 3+, so significantly more efficient this time. Is 2-2 to Hanley Ramirez. Taken low to run it full. Ramirez in his 4th year with big league time. And somehow 4 years, but 5 teams. The Phillies to the Diamondbacks to the Mariners, to the Reds, to the Angels, and his first opportunity to be a big league starter this year. The 28-year-old's 3-2 is by Ramirez for strike 3 at 98. Back-to-back Ks here in the 4th, and a 2-1 lead for Ramirez and the Angels. Top of the 5th inning in Boston. Top of the order for the Angels, and David Price starts Cameron Maybin with an off-speed pitch, which he's sprinkled in more as this game has gone on, and it's 0-1.
Well, especially in the first pitch of at-bats, he's continued to do that early in counts and then put guys away with the hard stuff, which is his bread and butter.
Goes to it right there, and a soft bouncer to Marrero. Maybin's the first out of the inning. Price, 31 years old, making his 6th start of the season tonight, his 2nd year in Boston after signing that big 7-year, $217 million deal. He was good last year, although for him not great. The .399 earned run average, the highest since his rookie year. And in this town, what you're remembered for is what you do in the biggest moments. And for Price in the postseason, 5 runs allowed over 3 1/3 in Game 2 of the American League Division Series, and then missed the first 2 months this year with the elbow issues, and yet to really find his groove over his first 5 starts.
When Price signed the deal with the Red Sox, I don't think there was more of a sure thing. Nothing is a sure thing in baseball. Injuries happen, but for me, when you see David Price as healthy as he's been and the amount of pitches and the way he takes the ball, for him, when he signed the 7-year deal, you're like, okay, I can see that. I know most organizations don't believe in doing that, but because of his track record, and then for him to miss 2 months and to not have the success that he's had is surprising.
He's ahead of Calhoun 0-2.
And then you throw in the 0-8 record in the postseason, which for a pitcher of his caliber is probably the most amazing stat out there. Because he has the stuff, he has the mindset, he has the composure to pitch in those big situations. And everyone remembers in 2008 with the Rays when he closed out the Red Sox to get them to the World Series. So he's had success in the postseason, just doesn't have a win.
Outside and ball 1. He does have 2 wins, but those are in relief in the postseason.
As a starter, sorry.
Right.
But like you said, you're known, especially in Boston, what you did in the postseason in the biggest moments. And until he gets that 0 turned into a 1, as crazy as this is to say, people are going to say he's a failure.
Here's his 1-2. That's a changeup low, and it's 2-2. He said he noticed even last year Rick Porcello wins the Cy Young, then struggles some in the postseason, and for a lot of people, that's what they remember.
Welcome to Boston. You want to pitch in one of the greatest places to play, Boston, but also one of the hardest, and also one of the downright meanest when it comes to that kind of stuff. What have you done for me lately?
Up the middle, and it's short. Bogarts had a rough last inning, sure-handed there for out number 2. So a pair of ground ball outs here in the 5th, and Price set to face Pujols. Doubled off the wall his last time in center. As 2 of the 5 Angels hits in this game. Inside corner strike. Right now sitting at 602 career home runs. Next up on that list, Sammy Sosa, 609. He admitted that when he was sitting at 599, the pressure of hitting 600 got to him. This is a guy whose nickname is the Machine, so that was odd to hear for Albert.
If you've hit 599 homers, I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you think you're not going to hit another one? I mean, he's got, what, 4 more years on his contract?
He was going to get there, right?
I'm sure. I've never hit 602 home runs, but you get to 599, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get to 600. And I'm sure he just wanted to get it over with. People were hounding him, I'm sure, for tickets and stuff. So
look out in the third base coach's box, 2-2. His wife texted him. She said, "Stay back, relax." Checked his phone between at bats as the DH in Anaheim went out in his next at bat and hit number 600.
Well, apparently she knows what she's doing when she's talking hitting. So
yeah,
she gets all the credit
for number 600 at least.
That's right.
Price is 2-2. Pujols climbs the ladder to stay alive. Became one of the 9 all-time to hit 6 home runs, to hit 600 home runs, and that includes Willie Mays. These are the only 2 guys in baseball history, part of that club, that have also won a World Series, won a Rookie of the Year, won an MVP. In the case of Pujols, he's won 3 MVPs. A 2-2 on the way. He fouls it again. Let's go down to JP.
Well, Joe, we saw on that graphic a moment ago the next milestone for Albert would be 610 home runs, which you told me would be very, very special for him. That would make him the all-time home run leader for a player born outside the U.S.
It's going to be an emotional landmark for him to reach. If he can pass Sosa, and he figured just a matter of time before he does. Still with 4 years left on his contract. Making Price work here with 2 gone in the 5th. Another 2-2, and it's gone full.
To be the all-time home run king outside of U.S. would be special. It reminds me when I played with Barry Bonds and he passed Willie Mays. That meant more to him because he was his godfather than actually hitting 700 or anything, because that was someone that was special. So for Pujols to be that leader, I'm sure that'll be an emotional one when he gets there relatively, I would assume, this year.
Chases what would have been ball 4. And David Price with his 5th strikeout of the game. A 2-1 game halfway home in Boston. Jeep Grand Cherokee. On to the bottom of the 5th here in Boston. 2-1 game. MLB.com @bat is your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Stay connected with a fully customizable experience. Download it today. Joe Davis, AJ Pierzynski, and JP Morosi back at Fenway Park, where JC Ramirez comes home to Jackie Bradley with strike 1. Mookie Betts started this game with a line out to center. Since then, every out that Ramirez has recorded has been either a strikeout or a ground out. One and one. Two and one on Bradley. It's 2-2. Ramirez, one of the 14 big leaguers from Nicaragua all time. Most notable Dennis Martinez. More than 2 decades in the majors, mostly with Montreal. Vicente Padilla, the 2nd most games in the majors out of anybody from that country. That's pulled inside the bag and fielded by Valbuena for the first out of the inning. JC said there are big parties every time he pitches these days back home, and that it wasn't that big of a deal when he was a reliever. Nobody got together to watch him come in and pitch, the 6th inning of a blowout game. But now in Managua, his hometown, his family gets together at home, and friends get together out at the bars to watch JC Ramirez Day in Nicaragua.
Well, hello everyone in Nicaragua that's watching.
Yeah.
Hello, or international, Joe. That's great. Those are the cool parts of Major League Baseball. With him being a starter now, they can plan the parties for when he's pitching.
Here's the 8-hitter Christian Vasquez. Yeah, when your boy is a reliever, it's not like you're checking his usage and seeing when he might be due up and saying, let's get a group together for dinner.
Maybe they call Charles Nagy and say, hey, before the game, and say, hey, is he up tonight? Is he hot tonight? Or is he down tonight?
Hey guys, I think JC might have the 6th tonight. Let's go get a beer.
That's right. It's a little harder to plan that way than if you're.
One ball and 1 strike. Hello, JP.
Well, Joe, it was at the Dennis Martinez National Stadium in Managua, Nicaragua, where Ramirez really impressed Bob Engel, the eminent international scout of the Seattle Mariners back in those days. A very crucial bullpen session and showcase there in his career.
And he's bounced around since he was signed. 5 teams in his 4 years.
Well, at least somebody keeps wanting him.
That's true.
You mentioned Vicente Padilla. He may or may not have thrown at me a couple times in my career.
Did he ever get you?
He got me twice in 2 at-bats in a row. Yes,
wow.
Sir. Yeah, what led to one of Ozzie Guillen's more infamous moments, but for another time.
What in the world did you ever do to rile anybody?
Nothing. I told him to hurry up and pitch because he was taking too long between pitches.
That might have done it.
So my next 2 at-bats, he hit me in the shoulder in about the same spot. I think he missed about 1/4 of an inch with each one.
Vasquez cues it to second. That's Espinosa, and a couple of more ground ball outs for JC Ramirez. Was this early career Vicente or later career when it didn't hurt as much?
No, he was still chucking it pretty good. And I want to say it was 2007 when he was in Texas. And then Nick Swisher of Fox, one of our Fox counter buddies at Fox, charged the mound on him later that year, and Padilla proceeded to beat him up pretty good, I believe. And Swisher's like, man, that dude was way bigger than I thought.
Yeah. Here's the 9-hitter Marrero. Ball 1.
I was smart enough I've heard enough stories about Padilla and his career, knowing he was a little bit crazy, I guess. I don't know if that's the right word, but he was a little bit out there. And
yeah.
I knew that he hit me, and he hit me twice, and he was giving me the look, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere near that dude. I'm going to first.
I've heard he was told the same thing about you.
No.
Brzezinski a little bit crazy.
Yeah, I was a little bit crazy, but he had that look in his eye, like if I took one step toward him, he might make
you regret it.
Yeah, so I just kind of went to first, put my head down, and accepted the fact that he just hit me twice in the same spot.
Nasty movement on that slider at 90, and it's 1-2 as J.C. Romero has retired 10 in a row and has Marrero in a 1-2 hole.
And like Mike Scioscia said, after the first couple innings, the first 25 pitches, this guy really settles in and can dominate a lineup for a long time. That's why he's a starter, and he's been so effective as a starter.
That's 11 in a row retired for J.C. Ramirez. And back in Managua, they're enjoying what he's doing to the Red Sox tonight. Telecast is sponsored by MasterPass, the simple, secure way to pay, and by Cricket Wireless, something to smile about. With A.J. Brzezinski and J.P. Morosi, Joe Davis back here at Fenway Park, where the Angels have a 2-1 lead. On to the 6th inning, and a gorgeous night for baseball. David Price to work against the middle third of the Angels order. It's Andrelton Simmons unloading on a high fastball and missing.
I think he was trying to ambush him right there. He decided 3 weeks ago that he was going to swing at that pitch. So it didn't matter where it was, and he swung at it, and he almost fell over.
You don't blame him. He's 0 for 8 against Price with 6 strikeouts in his career.
Well, he doesn't want to get to 2 strikes because there's a good chance he's going to punch out.
That ball's ripped to left center field and splits the gap. It bangs off the monster, and Simmons has opened the 6th with his first career hit against Price, a double. Time for a game break. We go to Los Angeles. Hello, Kevin Burkhardt. Jacob deGrom's been about the only good starter, really one of the only good things period for the New York Mets this year. They've announced this week, not announced, but it's leaked that they're ready to begin selling. Corners come in as Maldonado comes up and Price comes home. Strike 1. What a disaster it's been for them.
Who would they sell?
I mean, they've got a lot of guys in the final year of their deals. Bruce and Granderson, Walker, a couple of bullpen pieces.
No
Cabrera
starters.
out.
They're not going to.
No.
They're not going to move a starter, which is probably what everybody would like. DeGrom, Harvey, Syndergaard. Granted,
a lot of them are damaged goods.
A lot of them are hurt, but those are the guys people want. Bruce is a piece that could get rid of. Granderson is a good guy to have on a team, maybe a bench player. I don't know if he's an everyday guy on a playoff team at this point in his career.
Here's the problem in the National League for a lot of teams. Normally the consolation is the wild card, but the Mets are as far out of the wild card as they are the division because of what the Rockies and the Diamondbacks are doing behind the Dodgers in the West. Runner at second, nobody out, and Price to Maldonado 0-2. Fastball up 1-2.
You're right. That's the problem for a lot of these teams. You could say, oh, even the Braves, hey, we're almost at 500. We're having a great year. We're in the wild card. Oops, we're way behind in the wild card because these other two teams are doing things that nobody expected. Nobody expected Arizona and Colorado to be 18 games over 500 at this point in the year.
That's just in, and it's 2-2. Outside of the National League West, there are only 3 teams above 500 in the NL. You've got Washington at 44-29 in the East. The Brewers are 4 games over. The Cubs are 1 game over in the Central.
And I don't think anyone expects the Cubs not to catch the Brewers.
Yeah.
Nothing against Milwaukee, but if you stack them up man for man, at some point the Cubs are going to get hot. They have too much talent.
Maldonado bounces it to short, and Bogaerts will throw him out, but a productive out as Simmons advances to third.
And Bogaerts thought about going to third with this play. He thought about it, and then he realized the last inning last time he made a bad throw, it led to a run. Great base running by Simmons. Right at him, he goes right away. Bogaerts thought about it. He probably would have had him take the sure out. Hope Price can get out of it, save you a run. Productive out by Maldonado. He ran to first clapping his hands because he knew he did his job. He got the runner to third with less than 2 outs for Espinosa.
Angels looking for some insurance here with a 2-1 lead in the 6th. Espinosa reached on an error, stole second, and scored the go-ahead run on an Eric Young double in the 4th.
Infield in for the Red Sox, as you'd expect, since they're having a hard time getting the ball in the air off Ramirez.
Yeah, Bogaerts' error looming large right now. Throwing error in the 4th inning allowed Espinosa to reach. If he's able to make that throw, this is still a 1-1 game.
And I would be surprised. I would not be surprised if Simmons is going on contact right here. The Angels are notorious for always sending the runner from third with less than 2 outs and sending him on contact. And with the way he's taking his lead and as aggressively as he's getting his secondary lead, there is 0 chance that he is not going on contact. Mike Scioscia loves the contact play. And as an opposing team, you always knew that, so you knew that your infield had to get the ball to the catcher as quick as possible. And it takes a perfect play, a perfect catch, a perfect throw, and a perfect tag to get the guy out if they get a good jump.
Infield defense, for the most part, has been really good for Boston this year. A 2-0 pitch, and ball 3. A walk wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Would set up a chance at an inning-ending double play for Price. David Price, 95 pitches into the outing, is ready for a 3-0. A green light for Espinosa, strike 1.
And I like it, absolutely. He's trying to unintentionally walk you, but a lot of times when a pitcher gets to 3-0 on a hitter, they take a deep breath and think, okay, this guy's not swinging. I'll just lay one in there to get a strike, and then I can mess around with him on 3-1 and possibly walk him. But Espinosa aggressive, trying to drive the run in.
And anything they can do to try and get Danny Espinosa to break out of this season-long slump. As a man at third with one gone and waits on a 3-1 from Price. Cuts inside for ball 4. First free pass issued by Price, and they're at the corners with one away. Watch the greatest names in golf, including Tom Watson, Fred Couples, John Daly, as they tee off at Salem Country Club for the U.S. Senior Open. Starts Thursday, June 29th on FS1 and Fox. You can go to 2017USSeniorOpen.com for ticket information. That's about a half an hour from Fenway in Peabody, Massachusetts. It'll be the second time that that club has hosted the U.S. Senior Open. Well, the most pitches David Price has thrown in an outing this year is 107. He's at 97 right here. Now, with runners at the corners, 0-1 out, is ready to face the 7-hitter Luis Valbuena.
Not the worst walk in the world, like you said, Joe. Lefty on deck. Kind of pitch around him, could get out of it now with one pitch and get a double play with the infield in. So it's one of those points in the game where David Price is picking and choosing who he wants to go up against and try to get out of the inning without any more damage.
Valbuena not a great runner, and he's dealt with hamstring issues the last year. A pop fly foul, strike 1.
I'm still waiting for one of those to come in here.
Keep waiting.
They're getting closer.
Blaine Boyer, the man loosening in the Boston bullpen.
I just want to see if you're going to try and catch it or not.
Bare hand. Well, I guess if I'm catching it, it's barehanded because I didn't bring the glove. High fly ball to right center field. This should be deep enough. Bradley's back there to catch it. Simmons heads home, and a sacrifice fly for Luis Valbuena makes it 3-1. So a couple of productive outs in this inning for the Angels to get some insurance.
High fives for Valbuena, getting the job done. They pitch around a guy to get to you. It always is special. It's always a nice feeling when you get it done. When you hit it into a double play, you're really mad, but if you get it done, it's a great feeling knowing that, hey, you know what, Boston and David Price, I got you anyways.
So 0-1 on Eric Young, who broke the 1-1 tie 2 innings ago with his 2-out double.
And I wouldn't be surprised to see Espinosa on the move at some point here. Eric Young is basically another leadoff guy in this lineup for the Angels, and the Angels love to be aggressive on the bases.
Stole a bag in the 4th.
Well, he was picked off, and that's one of the rules that drives me crazy.
Why do you get credit for a steal when
you're actually picked off? And then it hurts the catcher's percentage too, obviously, on the catcher.
Right.
So that always bothered me.
That's right. So this is personal.
Hey, I needed all the help I could get back there, so yes.
There he goes. Foul. And a pretty good jump.
Oh, he had that base stolen easily. Obviously, 2 strikes. Eric Young Jr. has to swing at the pitch, but he would have had that base stolen easily. First move off a lefty. High leg kick from Price. Espinosa frustrated because he knows that's an easy stolen base.
One ball and 2 strikes. As Price has thrown 103 pitches. We'll need some help from the offense to get off the hook in this one. The only run for Boston came on a home run for Mitch Moreland in the 2nd. Espinosa takes off again. Price steps off, throws to second, and Pedroia tags him out. A little bit too early that time, and Price able to get him to finish the inning for the Angels at one, and a Valbuena sacrifice fly. Sox order coming up against J.C. Ramirez, who has been rolling. He's retired 11 in a row and gets ball one on a slider to Mookie Betts.
I think everyone in the building is asking where that pitch missed, including Ramirez and Maldonado, the catcher.
So 1-0, and that's a strike. I think we're even. Betts 0 for 2 in this one, and now 2 for his last 18. If you want an indicator for Red Sox success, look at Mookie Betts. He's hitting above 300 in the wins, hitting around 200 in the losses. And he's behind 1-2 on 3 consecutive Ramirez sliders.
The old saying, you go, we go?
Yeah.
Oh, never more evident than with Mookie Betts.
10 of the 12 home runs have come in the wins.
So no pressure, Mookie.
Yeah, right.
It's all riding on you, pal.
"24 years old in his 4th major league year. Tennessee native Mookie Betts on 1-2. Drills one to left center field. Young is back. He watches it bang off the monster. Betts opens the 6th with a double. So the leadoff man at second for the Red Sox. We go back to that last inning and the way that it ended with Espinosa getting caught between first and second. Pedroia tagging him out, and then this was interesting in the dugout immediately following. Watch David Price shouting for the pitching coach Carl Willis to follow him down into the tunnel, and then Farrell and Willis look at each other like, what? What was it that he wanted?
I don't think anyone knew. I don't know what was happening, and they were right there, and they don't look like they have any idea either. Carl Willis, obviously, that's one of your big-time pitchers and one of the guys you're counting on. So he went down there immediately, but maybe we can get JP to run down there and find out what was going on.
Go get it, JP. Pedroia fouls it off. Just like we said, no pressure on Mookie Betts. When he hits, they win. No pressure, JP.
That was a bullet that Mookie Betts just hit off the monster.
Snapped a string of 11 in a row, retired by J.C. Ramirez.
As the Angels had productive at-bats last inning to get their 3rd run on the board, Pedroia is looking to do the same here.
Pops it up, though. And short center fielder to be Danny Espinosa for the first out. Monday, some of the biggest names in hoops head out in a 10-city pro 3-on-3 battle. Ice Cube presents Big 3 basketball, changing the game starting on Monday in Brooklyn at 8 Eastern, only on FS1.
Allen Iverson?
Yeah, he's in there.
Kenyon Martin?
He's in there too.
So who's the team to beat in that?
I don't know. I'm not an expert yet. Tying run to the plate for Boston.
Well, if you could pick 3,
okay,
who would you pick?
Allen Iverson, Kenyon Martin, and who else was on the graphic? I'm assuming those are the 3 best.
No, I'm saying anybody.
Wow.
Anybody. Jordan.
Yeah.
Magic.
Sure. And since we're in Boston, why don't we go with Larry Bird?
There you go. There's your 3.
Got an LA guy in there for the Angels.
Although he's more of a Dodger fan than an Angel fan, I'd say.
That's strike one. He owns them. Part owner of the Dodgers, Magic Johnson. This Bogaerts falls behind 0-1. He's been the best hitter for the Red Sox when you look at the full body of work so far this year. The average and the on-base percentage have been there from day one. The power has come lately. Off the end of the bat, spinning its way foul, and it's 0-2.
Ramirez just continues to keep these Red Sox hitters off balance. Mixing in the slider, mixing in the curveball, along with a 95, 96 mile an hour fastball. Reaches back and get 98 when he needs it. See some frustration on some of the Red Sox faces with some of their bats, especially Pedroia after he didn't get the guy to 3rd with less than 2 outs.
Something the Angels were able to capitalize on, getting productive outs in the top of this inning to bring home their 3rd run. Leadoff double for Betts. He's at second with 1 gone as Ramirez deals 0-2. Bogaerts the best hitter in the American League with 2 strikes. That is remarkable. Hitting above 300 with 2 strikes.
If you hit over 200 with 2 strikes, you're really good. And to hit over 300 with 2 strikes, special. He doesn't panic with 2 strikes. He doesn't change his approach. A lot of guys, when you get 2 strikes, panic, start swinging at everything because they don't want to strike out. Bogaerts stays calm, relaxed, and sticks with his game plan.
Represents the tying run. Hits one off of the hands to 3rd. Pennington will have to hurry, and a strong arm to get him for out number 2. Couple nice plays by Cliff Pennington at 3rd today. Inserted into the starting lineup an hour or 2 before first pitch when Yunel Escobar was scratched with a thumb strain.
And both off Bogaerts. Both of Pennington's nice plays have come off Bogaerts. The last one he backed up, took the high hop. This one he got the perfect hop by moving his feet. Strong throw. Valbuena daring Betts to try to go to 3rd. Looked like a gunslinger coming off the bag.
Here's the one earlier against Bogaerts, kind of staggering away on a big bouncer.
See how he keeps his feet moving, though? He never gets caught flat-footed. He keeps his feet moving. Then he gets his feet underneath him to make a strong throw from deep in the hole at 3rd and ends an inning in a scoring threat.
Moreland the batter with 2 gone, whose home run has accounted for the Red Sox scoring in this game. Rare is the night this year when home runs have been the scoring story. Red Sox are last in the American League in homers. Ramirez deals. Moreland watches it slide in for a strike.
And I like that pitch from Ramirez right there. Slow curveball first pitch. Runner in scoring position. Guys try to be over aggressive a lot of times in these situations, and to drop that in for a strike, that's just an effective pitch. It's basically stealing strike one from the hitter, because most big league hitters aren't looking for that and they won't swing at it.
They've switched to the, or switching signs here with a runner at second, it appeared. Another slider, strike two. Home run back in the second for Moreland was his 10th of the year. He struggled some since fouling that ball off his toe a couple of weeks ago, but all in all, it's been a nice season in his first year with Boston. You going slider again if you're Ramirez, or showing him something harder?
I think he's going to go fastball up. Mitch looks like he's in a little bit of pain. He just fouled another one off his foot, so limping around a little bit. Oh, that wasn't his foot. I'm going fastball up right here, and then you can go another curveball or slider down, but just something to change his eye level. You go two curveballs in a row like he did, slow ones, kind of slows the hitter down. So you just want to kind of show him something different, and you don't want to throw it for a strike. Maldonado and Ramirez can't get on the same page, so they're out there talking about it. Mitch is trying to walk off that foul ball off his foot.
Ramirez in his last start threw 89 pitches in an outing that lasted 3+. Much more efficient. And trying to slam the door here in the 6th after the leadoff double. A fastball grounded softly to short. It's Andrelton Simmons, and Ramirez with a pump of the fist able to strand that leadoff double. Still with a 3-1 lead onto the late innings. J.C. Ramirez tonight for the Angels. It appears he is finished, but he has earned the rest with 6 great innings tonight against a good Red Sox lineup.
Very impressive by JC tonight, using all his pitches, getting strikeouts on fastballs, sliders, breaking away from the right-handed hitters, and more importantly, he was efficient, gave him 6 solid innings, and kept the ball on the ground.
As we look at our Budweiser game summary, the Angels getting single runs tonight in the first, the fourth, and the sixth, and the lone run that Ramirez allows a home run from Mitch Moreland in the second. Eric Young starts this inning and promptly bangs a liner to center that Bradley flags down. So 1 pitch and 1 out for the new Red Sox pitcher. It's Fernando Abad. He replaces David Price here in the 7th, his 24th outing this year.
He's checking that ball right there because it's missing half a side because Eric Young hit it so hard to Jackie Bradley. It's flat on one side. That's why he got rid of it.
One out for Cliff Pennington. Pennington drills a liner. This one's in front of Bradley for a base hit. So 2 pitches, both of them hit solidly to center, and this one in for a Pennington single, his first hit of the night.
Usually when the guy in front of you makes an out on the first pitch, the second guy doesn't swing at the first pitch because you don't want to get into a situation where you have 2 pitches and 2 outs. So if you swing like Pennington did, you better get a hit. And he did. So Socio will be okay with that. But also Pennington punched out his first 2 at bats, so he's trying to get contact as early as possible so he doesn't get into 2 strikes.
Cameron Maybin is 0 for 3, 3 ground outs. Looks at a 2-seam fastball for a strike.
And I expect to see action somewhere in this at bat, whether it's a hit and run or a steal from Pennington. Somewhere in these next 2 hitters, you'll see Pennington on the move at some point.
Angels leading the American League in steals. Been aggressive tonight. They were with David Price. See how they are with the bod. One ball and 1 strike. Maybin came into this series in Boston having reached in 26 consecutive games. It's the longest on base streak of his career. The Red Sox have shut him down. He's 0 for 7. With a runner at first and 1 out. Here's a 1-1. That's ball 2.
When you're as hot as Maybin's been, everyone knows about it. You come into a place like Boston, big media market. Every player says they don't read the newspapers, but you flip through them when you're in the clubhouse, and you look at guys' stats, see how they're doing, and you see Cameron Maybin's been on fire. So the Red Sox take a little notice and say, all right, we're going to shut you down. We're going to try to get you out.
Lifted to left center field. Bradley's on the move, won't get there, and it one hops off the wall. Pennington read it beautifully off with the bat. He will score from first on a double from Maybin. That makes it 4-1 Angels. So the first hit of the series for Cameron Maybin produces a run.
And try as they might, Cameron Maybin just laces a double into the left center field gap here. Pennington reads it perfectly off the bat, never hesitates, never slows down. Good relay by the Red Sox, but too late. He knows right away that's in the gap. But with the short porch here, the Green Monster, you really have to get a good read as a base runner to score from first on any ball off the wall. But he scored pretty easily. Just wanted to get his uniform dirty for the clubhouse guy to wash after the game. I think Mabe was pointing at me. Hey, Mabe, I see you, buddy.
It's your guy, huh?
That's right. That's my guy. My son. He's one of my son's all-time favorite players.
He's a fun player to watch. And the way he's been swinging it the last couple of years, has the numbers to match it. So 4-1 Los Angeles lead with a runner at second and one out. Cole Calhoun takes ball one from Abad. Calhoun, one of the guys that stepped up with Trout out. 342 in the month of June after he hit only 207 over the first 2 months.
So as much as we were talking about how well everything went for the Angels and Ramirez,
runner takes off, throw down, and Maben is in there safely. Have an awkward receive of that throw from Marrero. Maben able to get in ahead of the tack.
Good, not great jump by Maben. Low throw by Vasquez. Good job by Marrero just to keep it from going to left field. Actually, I think he was caught off guard with his feet. His feet weren't in the proper position, but because the throw was on the wrong side of home plate or on third base, it was really actually a nice job just keeping it from going to the outfield and leading to another run.
23rd steal for Maben to lead the American League.
And that's a big one.
Yep.
You talk about stolen bases and big stolen bases. It gets him to third with less than 2 outs, and now infield comes in. It gives Calhoun an opportunity to drive him in with less than 2 outs.
Here's a 2-0. That is in on Calhoun, and it's 3-0. Not much has gone right for the Angels offensively this year. They're in the bottom of most categories, but stealing bases has been one thing that Mike Scioscia's club has done well. Best in baseball.
Over the years, Mike Scioscia has always been known as an aggressive manager, wanting guys to steal bases, and I think these are the kind of teams that he's most effective with. The team that can steal bases can go first to third, score from first on doubles. Those are the teams he likes, and those are the teams he has most success with. Yeah, everyone wants the big guys that can hit 3-run homers for you, but Mike Scioscia likes to put pressure on the other teams, and one way to do that is by having fast guys that can steal bases and take the extra base on balls to the outfield.
Bunch of new guys on this roster this year for the Angels. Maben one of them. Calhoun, one of the foundational pieces. He's in his 6th year, all of them with Anaheim. And they've called a balk on Abad that will bring home Maben. He's not sure why. Neither is John Farrell or Dustin Pedroia. But it is 5-1 Angels.
The argument here is that Cole Calhoun called timeout, and that caused the pitcher to balk. So technically they're right, but the home plate umpire didn't give him time. He just kind of stepped out, so therefore the pitcher balked.
I thought I read home plate umpire's lips, Ryan Blakeney, and he said the balk came before time.
I didn't think it did. I saw Calhoun stick his hand up for time, and the hitter can't cause a balk from the pitcher. So I don't know. They're meeting here, and we'll see what becomes of this.
There's Bill Miller, the crew chief, letting John Farrell know the balk came before the timeout. It is only the second balk in 296 career innings for Fernando Abad.
And Farrell's getting run here. You can see he just wants to get run. It's been a frustrating night. They haven't scored a lot of runs. They're behind in the game. This is a situation sometimes where a manager just gets run.
He's working on it.
There we go.
Well, Bill Miller, the crew chief, has thrown John Farrell out of this game. This is a good one.
I love the manager arguments. With replay, you don't get this anymore because you can't argue anything. So I get the replays, but this is awesome. All we need next is a hat throw or some dirt kicking or something.
Even without it, though, that was top notch.
That was nose to nose.
John Farrell ejected with 1 out in the 7th inning after Fernando Abad is called for a balk, and the Angels take a 5-1 lead. So let's go back to the actual call.
He did move a little bit, but it was in reaction to Calhoun putting his hand up. So I guess they got the call right.
But a batter can't cause a balk.
I agree.
3-2.
There's a slight move to come up, but it's not until I mean, that is just, they got it right.
Okay.
I never argue with an umpire my whole career, so they got it right.
That or you've gotten it out of your system at this point. Full count on Calhoun. Abad back home, and he struck him out.
So now the Angels are mad at Bill Miller. So now Bill Miller has the fans, the Red Sox, and the Angels mad at him, all in a span of about 3 pitches.
So that will do it for Abad. His balk, by the way, the first of the year committed by the Red Sox. They are the last of the 30 teams in baseball to commit one. This was fun. High level arguing between those two guys. Into the game, and this is outside with the first one to Albert Pujols. 7th inning, Angels in front of the Red Sox 5-1. Boyer is on for Abad. Walked home the 5th run. And in arguing, John Farrell was ejected by the crew chief Bill Miller. Pujols lifts it down the right field line. Betts cruises under it. Has room to make the catch and finish the inning. But the Angels with the first multi-run inning of the game. It's a 5-1 lead as they try to even this series at a game apiece. Still very much in the playoff picture within 2.5 games of the second wild card. Still very early, but a jammed up American League with the All-Star break around the corner. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by BMW. We only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Angels in front of the Red Sox 5-1. As Andrew Benintendi gets ready to lead off the bottom of the 7th against David Hernandez as the Angels go into the bullpen, which has been a strength of this team. So J.C. Ramirez finished 6 solid innings of work, and Hernandez on for the 27th time this year. A really nice year in his first year with the Angels. He pitches 1-1, and Benintendi's late on a fastball, and it's 1-2.
Hernandez, like many relievers in today's game, cutters and curveballs. It's kind of been the in vogue way to pitch now, especially out of the bullpen. A lot of guys, Kenley Jansen, who you're very familiar with, Joe, cutters and curveballs.
Saw Gary DeSarcina, the bench coach of the Red Sox, is now making the decisions over there, with John Farrell ejected for the first time since last season in a game that was also against Anaheim. Hernandez strikes out Benintendi for the first out of the 7th. Up comes Hanley Ramirez. You know, one of the things that Mike Scioscia's been most pleased with his team this year is the way, despite the rotation not being very good, not consistently getting deep into games, the way that the bullpen has held up.
Absolutely. He said that their bullpen's been their best part of the team through the first half of the season so far. They've really held them together, held the team together, and they take the ball, they mix and match, and they don't have a closer, a confirmed closer at the moment, even though Houston Street is back off the DL, and they just mix and match, and these guys all take the ball, and they all lead the league in appearances. So they're doing something right. They're keeping them healthy, and they keep running out there and getting big outs for them.
Here's an 0-1, and there's ball 1 on Ramirez. Bud Norris had kind of taken the closer's role, even though they still hadn't crowned him as that. But Norris on the disabled list with a knee injury right now. Shouldn't be long for him. You mentioned Houston Street coming off yesterday, pitching for the first time in almost a full year. Cameron Drozian is back after spending some time on the disabled list with a groin injury. So a lot of nice pieces that he matches up in the late innings of the game. Here it's Hernandez, who's ahead of Hanley Ramirez 1-2.
Almost.
That did almost get you.
And you didn't even attempt.
No, I read it better than you did. No, I wasn't going to get up here.
I was always terrible at pop-ups. Rick, though, our stat guy, he did ready. Reach. I was afraid he was going to fall out of the booth, but he did try for it, unlike Joe Davis.
With the bases empty and 1 out, here's the 1-2. Takes it low and away, 2-2. Ramirez 0 for 8 in his career against David Hernandez. 0 for 2 tonight, has struck out twice. Red Sox could really use Hanley Ramirez to get going, recapture his form from last year. That one's low, and the count is full. Jackie Bradley Jr. due next. Former batting champ Hanley Ramirez, 33 years old now, in his 13th major league year. Waits on this payoff pitch. Drives it well to center. Maben's back on it. Onto the track. Leaps to make the catch. In front of the 420 sign in center field. 2 gone.
Just a bullet by Hanley Ramirez to the triangle out at Fenway Park. Drives the ball to right center field. Cam with a great jump. Knows where he's at on the field. Almost trips over a beer cup out there. Stays with it. Nice play.
Center field is natural position. He'd been playing left before Mike Trout's injury. Happy to be back in center for a little bit here in June. 2 out, bases empty, strike 1 on Bradley. Maben said he underestimated how difficult that'd be, switching to one of the corner outfield spots for the first time. He just gotten adjusted to it when Trout's injury forced him back to center. That's down the line and foul, and it's 0-2. Down to JP.
Well, Joe, that 2005 draft that Maben was part of, he was compared to a young Eric Davis back then, and what a draft class that was. Ryan Braun, Tulo, you see the top 10 right there. So many great names. Ryan Zimmerman there, Alex Gordon, and of course Jacoby Ellsbury here for the Red Sox.
Takes it high, and it's 1-2.
That's a pretty productive draft there. I've heard of all those guys. Usually there's some misses in there, but top 12, I mean, it's pretty good scouting by a bunch of different organizations.
It's inside, and it's 2-2. Bradley was drafted the year before in the first round out of South Carolina. I have the year wrong there. 2011. Down swinging here. Hernandez with a 1-2-3 7th. Then a 5-1 lead for the Angels as we go to the 8th. On ESPN, the Assurance All-Star Selection Show. The lineups for both teams will be announced, and then see them take the field in the can't-miss event of the summer at the MLB All-Star Game, July 11th, right here on Fox. Lane Boyer opens the 8th inning with a strike on Andrelton Simmons. Got a quick final out of the last inning. It's Albert Pujols flied out. Now facing the middle third. That's outside. It's 1-1.
And Boyer, much like Hernandez, we talked about cutters and curveballs. Well, guess what Blaine Boyer throws? Cutters and curveballs.
He's thrown them for 8 different major league teams over the course of his 11 years in the bigs. That cuts outside, and it's 1-2. Simmons tonight 1 for 3, scored a run after a double in the 6th. Boyer spent parts of 5 seasons with the Braves, a couple of years with the Diamondbacks. Other than that, he's bounced around 6 different one-year stints. Here's his 1-2, and it's outside, even the count. Foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Simmons, who has always been one of the best fielding shortstops in the game, but had a career best offensive season last year. Really good offensive numbers again this year, and he says the most confident he's ever been at the plate.
This guy will take more swings than anybody I've ever played with. He would go in the batting cage and take 10,000 swings before a game minute.
Little jam shot this second for Dustin Pedroia. Simmons the first out of the 8th. Such thing as too much, though?
I always thought he took too many swings, and I know when I played with him in Atlanta, they thought he took too many swings. And I always asked him how he wasn't exhausted before every game, because he went in there for so long. We were worried about him at times that he wasn't going to be able to play the game. But that was just his routine, and that was his thing, and it's worked for a couple years here in Anaheim.
1 gone, bases empty, and here's Martin Maldonado, who opened the scoring back in the 1st with a 2-out single against David Price. Price went 6 innings tonight. And barring a late Boston rally, Price is on the hook to lose this one. Rotation has not been quite what people expected it would be for Boston, with the Cy Young Award winners in Price and Porcello together, an ERA above 5. A broken bat roller to third, and Devin Marrero will throw Maldonado out. 2 out. Speaking of the Boston rotation, how about the move that Dave Dombrowski's made to fill tomorrow's starting spot? Doug Fister, who was in the Angels minor league system until a few days ago, has been signed by Boston, and ironically will face his, I guess, former team, the team that didn't want to give him a chance in the majors and instead cut him loose.
Can you say former team if you, former organization maybe?
Yeah.
It's got to be a little bit strange for Doug Fister. He literally was with the Angels 2 days ago, and now he's in Boston. Got it in, I think, at 6 in the morning or something crazy, and now he's going to face his former organization.
Strike 1 on Espinosa. Let's go down to J.P. Morosi.
Dave Dombrowski, the Red Sox GM, told the Boston Globe that he has acquired Fister on the recommendation of Red Sox scout Eddie Bain, who watched Fister pitch in the minor leagues. Angels fans know the name of Eddie Bain very well. He was the scouting director who drafted Mike Trout in 2009.
And now here in Boston, and JP, for Dave Dombrowski, he's lining up 3 former Tigers in the rotation this weekend, where Dombrowski came over from. Porcello last night, Price tonight, and Fister to start the finale tomorrow.
My question is, how does that scout get away from Anaheim?
Yeah, I know.
You signed Mike Trout, you should have like a lifetime contract.
Life isn't fair, AJ. Espinosa strikes out swinging, and a 1-2-3-8 for Blaine Boyer. See if the Red Sox have a rally in them. Down 5-1 to the bottom of the 8th. Well, here in the American League East, Aaron Judge has stolen the show for much of his rookie season. You take a look at the All-Star game balloting right now as it stands in the American League. He's one of the outfielders that would start, along with Mike Trout, if he's able to get healthy in time. The Red Sox don't right now have anybody in that starting group. You can vote for your 2017 All-Stars with the Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot. And then watch the excitement of the 88th All-Star Game presented by MasterCard, July 11th, live on Fox. Angels 5, Red Sox 1 to the bottom of the 8th. Bottom of the order, the 8-hitter Christian Vasquez. Against Middleton, who's fresh into the game, delivering ball 1. Ian Middleton, the rookie.
And this guy has some stuff. Pure stuff from Middleton coming out of the Angels bullpen right here. High 90s fastball. Angels love this kid.
Ball behind Vasquez, 2-0. And again, Mike Scioscia at this point doesn't have defined roles in that bullpen, mixing and matching based on matchups to try and get it through the 9th inning. So on that All-Star ballot, you saw who's in there right now for the American League. Anybody that you feel like is getting snubbed as far as starters with a few weeks of voting?
Well, with Trout injured, there's probably going to have to be somebody to come in. But to me, Judge is the man. He's obviously in the starting lineup, as he should be, but he's in the top 3 in every Triple Crown category in the American League. Leads the league in home runs. Probably the front runner for MVP. I think Rookie of the Year at this point is probably a shoo-in. So that's a pretty good list. The fans have done a pretty good job so far. Of obviously there's only a couple weeks left to go, but there's some guys that'll change a little bit here and there, but for the most part I think they've pretty much gotten them all right.
Christian Vasquez leading off this 8th inning for Boston. 2 balls and 2 strikes against the hard thrower Middleton. Got it in the hands. A little bloop shot into short center field. Espinosa makes a running catch for the first out of the 8th. It's been quite a year for young sluggers in baseball. You've got Aaron Judge, who's doing this like you talked about in the American League, and then Cody Bellinger matching him punch for punch lately. The National League's version.
This guy's been a monster. Aaron Judge has become a legend in New York in half a season. He went from not even going to make the team, not starting at their starting right fielder, to front runner for MVP. And if you had to ask people right now, he would win it going away. So a special half for Aaron Judge, and well deserved for that young man that seems nothing but nice and humble and good kid.
1-0 on Devin Marrero. One gone in the bottom of the 8th inning. Angels tried to even this series at a game apiece after the Red Sox took the opener 9-4 last night. This has kind of been the story for Boston this year. Inconsistency with that offense. The 9-run output last night. Managing only the solo home run from Mitch Moreland tonight. If they can't come from behind, this will be the 10th consecutive game where they've alternated back and forth between a win and a loss.
That's why they're a 500 team.
Boston.
Oh, Boston. Oh, well.
You got nothing, do you?
I'm surprised by that because of their starting staff and because of their lineup depth and the lineup that they're running out there. I'm surprised that, because we talked about this with Anaheim, how they go back and forth and they go 500, one game over, one game even, then they go back to under and they catch back up. So that surprises me about Boston.
2-2 on Marrero.
When you're running Price, Porcello, Sale, those guys 3 out of 5 days, whoever the other two are, you would think at some point Boston's going to win 4, 5, 6, 7 in a row. And if they do, they could very well run away from the AL East and hide. But until those 3 guys, probably other than Sale, Porcello and Price, Pomerantz, another guy, they need those guys to step up and pitch.
Strike 3 call with a fastball to the outer half of the plate from Middleton. And 2 up and 2 down here in the 8th inning. You know, that said, these rotating wins and losses for Boston, when you open it up and look a little bit bigger picture, they've been as good as anybody in the American League over the last month or so. They had fallen to 4.5 games back. They were sitting at 500 on May 20th, but since May 21st, only Houston has been better.
This is the team since May 21st that people expected out of the Red Sox. I don't think that anyone expected them to be around 500. And their hot streak also coincides with the Yankees kind of falling off from where they were. Hence the reason why the Red Sox right now are percentage points ahead of the Yankees.
Betts swings and misses 0-2. Betts double in the 6th, the only base runner for Boston since the 2nd inning. Ramirez went 6th, then Hernandez a scoreless 7th. Middleton looking for a perfect 8th. Ball 1. 99.
He's got to have 1 more mile an hour in the tank, doesn't he?
No,
he got to hit a triple digits. This inning has done nothing to diminish the feeling the Angels have for this kid and his stuff and his ability to pitch late in games in big situations.
Betts bounces it to second. There's Espinosa to finish off another 1-2-3 inning for Angels pitching. On to the 9th in a 5-1 game in Boston. Tonight's telecast is sponsored by E-Trade. E-Trade, the original place to invest online. And by Oscar Mayer, hashtag for the love of hot dogs. Back in Boston, where the Angels lead the Red Sox 5-1. On to the 9th inning, where Matt Barnes will pitch. Trying to keep it at 5-1, give the Red Sox a chance in the bottom of the 9th inning. Barnes' 34th game this year. And he had a really nice run the back half of May, early on in June, but has given up runs in each of his last 2 outings. Bottom of the Angels order, Luis Valbuena starts the 9th and looks at an off-speed pitch for strike 1. Red Sox bullpen, one of the best in baseball this year. Of course, keyed by Craig Kimbrell at the back end. Angels doing their best to make him a non-factor with a 5-1 lead here.
This inning for Barnes, not only do they need an inning out of him, but they're also trying to get a confidence boost for him. Get him out there. Like you said, he struggled a little bit here and there in the last couple outings, so they're just trying to get him out there, get him a clean inning, get his confidence back up, because this is someone they need down the stretch.
And a strikeout to open the 9th inning of Valbuena. With 1 out, Eric Young comes up, and we go down to JP.
Well, Joe, earlier in this game with the go-ahead double by Eric Young Jr., when he arrived at second base, we noticed him raising his hand to the sky and showing 3 fingers. That's in honor of his late son, Eric Young III. He was born 3 months premature and died in January. And Joe, when I spoke with Eric earlier today, he said that by honoring his son's memory and sharing his story, he hopes to really give others strength when they are going through similar tragedies in their lives. And AJ, as you mentioned earlier today, Eric is a very inspirational and an extremely positive person, even in the midst of what he's going through right now.
Absolutely, JP.
That one clipped him. He'll get first with 1 out.
In 2015, when he was our starting center fielder on opening day for the Braves, he was struggling a little bit, and they kind of just took all of his at-bats away. And I've never been around a guy that handled it as professionally and as maturely as Eric Young Jr. did. He never complained. He never said a word. He basically went from playing every day to not getting an at-bat for about 2 weeks. And he came every day with the same attitude, the same energy, the same smile on his face. And I told him, I said, EY, I just got to tell you, man, I've never seen a guy handle this situation as well as you did. So to hear that story from JP does not surprise me at all.
Cliff Pennington with a man at first and 1 out. Looks at strike 1. Right when the Angels acquired Eric Young Jr., they had him address the entire team and immediately became a favorite. And then began the year in the minors. Came up with a Mike Trout injury. They have loved having him around the big league club. He's been quite the injection of energy for Mike Scioscia's team here in June. Barnes deals 0-1. That's ball 1.
Fun matchup to watch. Christian Vasquez behind the plate for the Red Sox, who can really throw, and Eric Young Jr. on first, who can really run. There'll be some action here somewhere. See what kind of jump EY gets and see what kind of throw Vasquez is able to get off if he gets an opportunity.
Young, 32 years old, his 9th major league season. Still has good wheels. Pretty conservative lead here. They'll still check on him. Those 6 steals and 8 attempts coming in less than a month in the big league club.
The little wiggle from Christian Vasquez is slide step to his pitcher Matt Barnes.
2-1. How often are you dictating that as a catcher, and how often does the pitcher determine it?
Most of the time it comes from the bench. What you're doing, throwing over, pitch out, slide steps, etc. I always wanted him to slide step.
There goes Young. Pitch outside, and on the transfer, Vasquez can't squeeze it. Young is stolen his 7th bag here in his first month.
The game within the game. EY gets a great jump. No one's throwing him out right here. Vasquez tries to hurry, bobbles the ball. Good pitch to throw. When you see a guy get a jump, like the one that Eric Young Jr. just had, you try to rush as a catcher. Actually, the bobble a lot of times is better, because when you see that and you try to rush, you'll end up throwing it to your center fielder, which then the guy's on third, and then you really feel bad now.
Runner at second now with 1 out and a 3-1 pitch. Pennington takes ball 4. So 2 on with 1 out as the Angels try to add at least 1 here, so that one swing couldn't tie the game in the bottom of the 9th.
And in the midst of all the Eric Young stealing the base, all he did by getting on base and being a threat to steal was he affected the hole at bat for Pennington. Barnes was distracted, throwing over, slide stepping, getting out of rhythm, and then he walks the 9-hole hitter Pennington to get to the top of the order, turn the order over, and get Maben an opportunity to drive in a run with a guy in scoring position.
Well, there are quite a few pieces on this Angels roster that can do that to you. You talked about it earlier. Some of Mike Scioscia's best teams have had that kind of personality. Got Young at second. The guy at the plate in Maben is like that. Ben Revere off of the bench tonight, similar speed. The slider is low, and it's 1-0. And when they get Mike Trout back, he's underrated for how fast he is.
Is there anything Mike Trout's underrated at?
I think probably a lot of things he's underappreciated for. Don't you?
When you win MVP every year, it's hard to be underappreciated at anything.
He's only won 2 of them in his 5 years, though.
Yeah, oh gee, only 2?
Case could be made that he should have more. Foul back, it's 1-1.
When you're the best player on the planet and everyone calls you the best player on the planet, I think Mike Trout's right about where he needs to be.
Okay.
He's still very, very young. He already has 2 MVPs. I guarantee he'd trade them all for a World Series, an opportunity to play in the playoffs. So maybe that's where he's underappreciated, in playoff baseball.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's only played 3 career postseason games. They were all losses. The American League Division Series against Kansas City in 2014. 2 on with 1 out in the 9th inning, and Barnes to Maben with his 1-1. Shot down the right field line for strike 2. Barnes pitching here in the 9th, trying to keep it right here. Another 1-2. Runners take off on a bouncing ball that'll keep them out of the double play. Bogarts throws Maben out. 2 retired in the 9th. Well, Maben retired here, but Grip the Moment, sponsored by Falcon Tires, the official tire of Major League Baseball. Looks at some nice defense from him in this game.
Hugs from your pitchers. When you make 2 plays like that, you come into the dugout, your pitcher's always the first one there to greet you, because you're saving his runs. Those runs go on his back of his baseball card, so they'll always be the first one to greet a player when they make plays like that for you, especially in the outfield.
Second and third and 2 gone, and it's Cole Calhoun. Breaking pitch, bounced to second, knocked down by Pedroia, and he has no play. It's 6-1 Angels as Young scores from third on a hard hit ground ball from Cole Calhoun. It is ruled a base hit and an RBI for Young, or for Calhoun.
Tough play for Pedroia, going to his right. Knocks it down, actually saves one run by knocking it down, but no one is more mad at himself than Dustin Pedroia. The ball hit the heel of his glove because he expects himself to make that play.
Angels have now scored in 5 separate innings tonight. At the corners with 2 gone, and it's Pujols. 2 hits against David Price, a single and a double off of the wall. Final game of this series tomorrow. Parker Bridwell goes for the Angels. And the recent Angel minor leaguer Doug Fister makes his Red Sox debut. Barnes home with an 0-1. Pujols hits a fly ball to left center field. Bradley and Benintendi. It's Bradley to make the catch and finish the 9th. But the Angels add some insurance to the bottom half in a 6-1 game. Of the summer back-to-back. The action begins at the T-Mobile Home Run Derby on ESPN July 10th at 8 Eastern. Then catch baseball's biggest stars in the 88th All-Star Game presented by MasterCard July 11th right here on Fox, with coverage starting at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific.
I can't wait to see how far they hit the ball in Home Run Derby in that park.
Yeah.
It's going to be bouncing around everywhere.
It's Cam Bedrosian, 9 games this season, 3 since coming off of the DL with a groin injury, and he's yet to give up a run. 2, 3, and 4 for the Red Sox. Strike 1 on Pedroia. Hopefully see Aaron Judge, see Cody Bellinger. Hometown guy in that Home Run Derby would be Giancarlo Stanton. On the edge for strike 2. Angels tonight a run in the first, a run in the fourth, run in the sixth, 2 in the seventh, and 1 in the ninth. Red Sox got their lone run on a leadoff homer from Mitch Moreland in the second. 6 fantastic innings from J.C. Ramirez. It's outside and it's 1-2. Six of the 8 innings tonight have been perfect for Angels pitching.
That makes the game real easy as a pitching coach. If you're just watching your guys go 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and draw a script for the Angels to win a game here tonight. They hit it on every level. Big hits, great starting pitching. So far, so good out of their bullpen. If you go 1-2-3, there's low stress on your pitchers, low stress on your manager, and more importantly, low stress on us broadcasters up here.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about. Pedroia goes back up the middle. There's Simmons behind the back for the first out of the night. And the Red Sox, since that second inning home run and a single that followed it, have gone 1 for their last 20 against Angels pitching.
Simmons made that last play just look so easy. There was no hurry, no panic at all. It's a tough play, and he just made it look so easy. Just going to his left, ho-hum, just a routine ground ball. No big deal in Fenway Park. Out by 5 steps, Petey. Hit it to the wrong guy.
It's hard to believe he's only won 2 Gold Gloves.
It's a shame. It really is a shame. After watching him for an entire season, it's a shame.
Xander Bogaerts taking strike 1. Here comes an 0-1. Bogaerts hits it foul, and we check in with JP.
Well, Joe, we talked earlier in the show about Bogaerts and his ability at shortstop, but there is one man to whom he defers that position, and that man is Andrelton Simmons. On both the 2013 and 2017 Dutch teams of the WBC, Mr. Bogaerts really respected Simmons and said, you know what, I can play third base if it means you at shortstop.
Yeah, there's some really good young shortstops in the game right now.
And a whole bunch of them played on the Netherlands in the World Baseball Classic.
You're right. Opposite field liner into the gap for Bogaerts. On his way to second with a double. His first hit of the night. And the second hit for Boston since the second inning. Those two guys shared a conversation. Native of Curacao and Simmons, Aruba native, and Bogaerts. JP tells us they are likely speaking the language Papiamento.
Is that what David Ortiz spoke? Big Papiamento?
I'm waiting. To hear JP.
Okay, guys, here we have it. I spoke with Bogaerts before the game. Both Simmons and Bogaerts are quadrilingual. Dutch, Spanish, English, and Papiamento, which is the native language of both Aruba and Curacao. And so Bogaerts told me, yes, at second base, we always speak in Papiamento, and we do so right away.
And I get your joke now, AJ. It took me a minute, but here's Moreland down the middle for a strike. The Red Sox, 1 year after leading the American League in runs per game, are right around league average this year. Biggest drop off in runs per game in the American League from last year to this year. Big part of that has been the power numbers down. Of course, losing David Ortiz and his 38 home runs, hard to replace, especially when the guy they've plugged into the DH role and Hanley Ramirez has struggled the way that he has.
The Red Sox knew it was going to be, you can't just replace David Ortiz. Not only his numbers, but his presence in the lineup. So they knew it was going to be a team effort. And they just haven't done what people have expected. Hanley struggled a little bit. Pedroia's numbers are down.
And Marlins down for the second out of the ninth.
Mookie Betts' numbers are down a little bit from what he's made us accustomed to from him. And
yeah, really across the board, the home run numbers are down for Boston. And that is not necessarily going to be the personality of this team, a home run hitting team, a doubles hitting group so far.
Well, I think the most surprising part of that is that home runs in baseball in general are way up.
Yeah. So
for the Red Sox, a team you've always thought of as, hey, the Red Sox are a bunch of big sluggers, for their numbers to be down is surprising.
Benintendi, the last hope for Boston in a 6-1 game in the ninth. Here comes Bedrosian, and there is ball one. We're on pace to have more than 300 more home runs than the previous record.
Why?
You retired too early.
Apparently. Why? Why? What's the reason for that? More velocity for pitchers?
There are a few theories out there.
Balls juiced.
That's
heard that one.
Them. The new philosophy of everybody trying to elevate the ball more.
Launch angle.
Yeah.
People don't care about strikeouts anymore, whereas they used to care about strikeouts. So now hitters go up there and they're taught from young ages to just try to hit a home run, which when I was young they told you just not to strike out.
Yeah.
Now they tell you to strike out if you still hit 25 home runs. They don't care.
So they were telling you don't strike out, but then there was a lull in home runs and they said go ahead and cut it loose a little bit more.
David Ortiz, who we've talked about, when he was with the Twins, one of the reasons they didn't like him, he struck out too much.
3-0 on Benintendi.
Tom Kelly, our manager at the time, was huge into putting the ball in play, put the ball in play, put the ball in play. He'd preach it to us. If he struck out too much, you never get an opportunity to come up. And David Ortiz struck out a little bit too often, so they released him, non-tendered him, and he became a Red Sox.
Runner at second, 2 gone, ninth inning, and Benintendi takes strike one. Series wraps up tomorrow between these teams, and barring a 2-out miracle here for Boston, it'll be a rubber match. Goodwell for the Angels, Pfister for the Red Sox. That's ball 4. So 2 on with 2 out, and here comes Hanley Ramirez. Struck out his first 2 times and then hammered a ball to the wall in right center, right in the triangle. That was flagged down by Cameron Maben his last time. John Farrell said earlier this week if they can get Hanley Ramirez going the way he was last year, it's almost like a deadline acquisition. He can start hitting the way that he's shown in his career he's capable of. 2 on, 2 out, ninth inning. First one from Bedrosian over the outside corner, strike one. Third year of his 4-year contract with Boston, has a vesting option for a 5th year. Down 0-2. The best pitch games of the year from start to finish for the Angels, with the 6 strong innings from Ramirez, and then the bullpen brilliant as well. Set for the 0-2. Taking low, ball one. And Bedrosian trying to keep his season ERA spotless. One of those pieces at the back end for Mike Scioscia that he continues to match up. A more modern bullpen setup. A 1-2. Ramirez hits it in the air back of first, and that's a fair ball. That spins into the seats for a ground rule double. It scores Bogarts. It's a 6-2 game. Right on the chalk.
Perfect placement by Hanley right there.
Just like he meant to do it.
Just a great swing. When you hit a ball like that, basically it's like shanking one in golf, and it lands perfectly on the line for not only a double but for an RBI. And he would have got 2 RBIs if the ball didn't bounce into the stands. It actually cost him an RBI because it bounced in the stands.
Well, now things get a little bit interesting with Jackie Bradley coming up. If he can reach, the Red Sox would bring the tying run to the plate here in the 9th.
Great shot by our camera crew of the chalk exploding when the ball lands on top of it.
Bradley 0 for 2. Best hitter for the Red Sox over the last month. Bedrosian pitches and Bradley takes ball 1. Christian Vasquez due next in a 6-2 game in the 9th. Red Sox trying to stir up some drama. Two and 0. Taking a peek down to the bullpen to see the Angels are getting going, and they are with Blake Parker. On 2-0, he will step off. But again, if you're thinking about a pinch hitter potentially for Christian Vasquez, that decision won't come from John Farrell. He was ejected earlier in the game, arguing with the crew chief Bill Miller over a balk call. A 2-0. Ball 3 on Jackie Bradley.
Exactly what Mike Scioscia didn't want. We just talked about low stress innings, 1-2-3, 1-2-3, and they're a pitch away from having the tying run at the plate with a 5-run lead going to the 9th.
Walk and a double with 2 outs. And now a 3-0 to Jackie Bradley Jr. The bases are loaded, and the Red Sox bring the tying run to the plate in the 9th. Charles Nagy and Mike Scioscia trying to decide if they want to let Bedrosian try to finish this thing, or if they'll bring on Parker, who is warming in a hurry. Well, Vasquez, if you're wondering about his chances to tie this game with 1 swing, he has 2 career home runs. His last one came off of Dellin Betances to the Yankees a year ago. From a 6-1 yawner to the tying run at the plate with the Red Sox down to their final out. Strike 1 on a slider. Vasquez 1 for his last 18. Fouled off, and it's 0-2. First run that Bedrosian has allowed this year. And now trying to strand him loaded.
I think the Dodger fans lost. It's at the wrong game.
Yeah. Took a really bad wrong turn. Here comes an 0-2. That spins away, ball one. They've put Chris Young in the on-deck circle if Vasquez can find a way to keep this thing moving. 2 doubles, 2 walks in the inning. Tying run at the plate with 2 gone and a 1-2. Big bouncer foul will do it again.
Anytime you're in Fenway, catching, I know catching. The tying run comes to the plate in the 9th inning. The crowd gets going here. Your heart just starts beating a little faster, and you just want to get the 3rd out as soon as possible. It goes without saying, but for some reason in this park, you always feel like in the back of your mind they have a chance.
Here's another 1-2 from Cam Bedrosian. Outside, and it's 2-2.
Ball's outside. From the dugout, Mike Scioscia, the way Maldonado caught it, thought it was a strike. Plus he feels the pressure rising a little bit as the count gets deeper. He wants to hurry up and shake hands and get out of here.
Well, on a weekend where they've honored David Ortiz, one of the great clutch hitters of all time, creating some drama down to their final strike. A 2-2 to Christian Vasquez. Swings and misses, but the ball gets away. Home plate umpire Ryan Blakeney stepping in front of the plate. I believe the ball got out of play.
The ball's on top of the net.
It did get out of play, which would mean that Vasquez is safe at first, and this is a 6-3 game, because that was a swing and a miss for strike 3. The ball goes on top of the net, is out of play, and the tying run will be on base with Chris Young coming to the plate. It's 6-3 now. Wow, what a bad break for Cam Bedrosian and the Angels. Forcing Mike Scioscia to go into that bullpen in a game that was 6-1 just a moment ago. And everybody's safe. And then, oh yeah, the bat goes flying into the outfield.
Great bat toss by Vasquez, but Maldonado has got to give a better. He tried to backhand that ball. He never really got down in the proper blocking position and the ball hits his wrist and goes up on the backstop. You see the frustration from Maldonado, because not only does it extend the inning in the game, but also gives the Red Sox the go-ahead run at the plate.
And forces the Angels to go one step deeper into that bullpen with Blake Parker. The Red Sox have put the tying run on base here in the 9th inning with 2 doubles, 2 walks, and a runner reaching on a strikeout. Chris Young will pinch hit.
So as perfect of a game as it's been for the Angels until the 9th inning, it could all end right here with one swing of the bat.
Young has 1 home run this season. Here's the first one. Ball 1. Su-Wei Lin is the pinch runner at first, just called up this afternoon. Parker's 1-0. Bottom of the zone, strike 1.
Perfect pitch by Blake Parker. Right on the corner, right on the knees. As a hitter, you're frustrated. The umpire calls out a strike, but there's not anything you can do with that pitch anyways.
Chris Young, more than 180 home runs during his career. On this 1-1 pitch, he takes a perfectly placed strike 2.
Just another fabulous pitch by Blake Parker. Down and away. Nothing you can do with this ball.
Red Sox again down to their final strike. Parker's 1-2 pitch. Young tries to lay off and does, and it's 2-2.
I don't think he went. Sosa's reaction is just classic Mike Scioscia. Just look of disbelief because he wants this game to end.
Desperate for it to end at this point. It was 6-1 to start the inning.
And for anyone that says players don't care, managers don't care, that's the shot that shows that they care.
Young strikes out swinging, and Parker comes on to slam the door and avoid a monumental disaster here in the 9th inning. Only the 3rd save of his career to hold on to his 6-3 win, straining the bases loaded in the 9th.
Great job by Blake Parker. Splitter to Chris Young. Bottom falls out. He swings over the top. Gets him out of the jam. Big Angels win to get back to 500.
So the Angels even this series at a game apiece with a 6-3 win. Coming up next, we get you back to the studio for post-game coverage right after these messages.